If you have a blown head gasket, you have a few options. Sell the vehicle as is and buy a new one. Install a used engine, which is a straight up gamble. Buy a new engine, which is very expensive, or tear it down and repair it, and hope that the engine is repairable. In this video, we're going with the latter. My brother's 2002 Tundra got a little bit too hot, and after some diagnosis, I found exhaust gas getting into the cooling system, causing it to overpressurize. And we also had low compression on cylinders 4 and 6. Now this truck has the 4.7 liter iForce V8, Toyota's 2UZ FE. It's their famous million-mile motor, and while it already has over 250,000 miles on it, if we can save this engine, I'm sure it'll go for another 250,000 miles too. Now I've done a few head gaskets over the years, and maybe one timing belt, but I'm a BMW guy, and all those jobs have been on BMWs and Mini Coopers. So join us as I team up with my brother Evan to tear down his Toyota Tundra to the bare block. We're going to remove the cylinder heads, send them out for machining, replace the head gaskets, service the timing belt, as well as repair and replace anything else we find while this engine is torn apart. Let's get cracking. So game plan pretty much today is we need to get the cylinder heads off. Intake's gonna come out, valve covers, exhaust manifolds, front end, strip down the belt, pull the timing belt, pull the camshaft so we can get access to the cylinder head bolt, and then pull cylinder head bolts and then these suckers off. So I think to start, we'll probably dump oil and coolant and scout the exhaust down below. And then from there, we'll try to stay organized and get all this shit removed.
Let's do it.
A lot of shit in here.
There is. I've always wanted to go this deep on an engine too.
Yeah.
Never had the chance.
What's the biggest repair job you've ever done?
Dude, basic stuff. I've never gone that deep. I mean, oxygen sensors, maybe.
Yeah.
Alternator, brake, drum brakes, intakes. I've never even done a radiator.
Yeah.
So it'll be cool.
So I pulled the wheels, I pulled the skid plate. We'll get this up to a working height, dump the fluids, and scout the exhaust. We'll start with coolant. Coolant's pretty easy. There's a petcock up here on the radiator. Or right here. Oh. Yeah, right here.
Okay.
Just quarter turn this. I might have hit it with some pliers. Such a shorter walk to my toolbox now.
It's nice.
And then it'll just come out this little pee hole.
Oh, okay. That works.
And then we'll let that drain.
Did you already pull the oil cap?
Yeah. So exhaust manifolds bolt up to that little collector up there. And then we have our catalytic converter with our pre-cat O2 sensor and our post-cat O2 sensor.
Okay.
So because the exhaust manifolds have to come out, we're gonna need to remove this back half, but removing it all the way to the rear is gonna be a
Yeah, I see that.
I think this will be our best point of separation, but I might need to grab a wrench to hold the top. Let's see if it spins. Ah, it just wants to bend. Oh, the bolt wants to spin. Maybe the nut is welded to the bracket.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think that nut's welded to the bracket.
Did you have to take it all the way off, or you can just?
Yeah, I'm gonna take it all the way off just so we can open it up. And we got a good separation joint there. We might be able to wiggle it out with it as is.
Yeah.
So we'll leave the hangers real quick, and then yeah, we'll bring the truck down and start working on the big. And then we'll just revisit it once we go back to the exhaust. Okay, so covers off there. Next, let's get this airbox out of here. That comes out. This hose comes off the back, this big meaty crankcase ventilation hose. And then another one here, and another one here. And then this lid will come off, and we can pop that off the throttle body. Then take that out as one big honker. Take this airbox out too. Nice, we got more room already. You got coolant hose coming out. That'll be good. We'll need that one off to get the fan and the shroud out.
Get off.
Nice, and we can just flop that out of the way.
Okay, clamp's still on it.
And I think a good place for us to start will probably be intake.
Okay.
Getting all this intake junk out. I think that'll be a good spot for us to start. It's gonna be a big one, brother.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, a good amount of work here.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, head gasket is no joke. Water pump's no joke. Timing belt's no joke.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna start popping these wires for the ignition coils because they're attached to the fuel injector harness. And all that harness is gonna come out.
When I bought my old Tundra, it needed a timing belt and a water pump.
Yeah.
And the seller was just like, I'm just gonna do that myself, dude. You can't, I'm not gonna lower the price for that. I'm just gonna do it myself. I'm like, if you do it yourself, I will not buy this truck.
Yeah, dude, it's not like a Serpentine belt.
That's not a weekend repair. He's like, yeah, I looked it up. I could totally do it. I'm like, no, you can't.
Yeah. No, you can't. You probably shouldn't.
You have like 4 screwdrivers, bro.
Oh, that hose clamp just seized. The worm gear backed out and
I
it didn't unscrew it.
I saw that.
It's okay, we'll replace it. What we can do is take this worm gear all the way out.
Will that release it?
Yeah, it should let it go.
Oh yeah, that'll work. There we go.
Fuel injector plugs. How do you release? I gotta learn Toyota connectors.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, the big thing is like all these harnesses, they come off in big chunks. Like this right here, you can already see it's got 6 different connectors on it, and it all runs back to one loom to this main bulkhead.
Okay.
And so if we just like, I took all the connectors off the ignition coils here, all those 4, chased it down, saw whatever it was going to, like these 2 plugs, which are coolant temp sensors. Yeah, just basically working on getting that, because like see this loom, now that all this is out of the way, like just tuck that out. Like the valve cover looks so much more simple now.
Oh, it does.
So you're gonna be an expert on this truck when you're done.
Dope.
You can feel so much more confident on like longer drives and stuff. And this video is also gonna show like, these are 2 dudes that have some mechanical experience, yes, but I've never pulled the valve covers on a Toyota. I've only ever done like 1 timing belt, and it was on a super old BMW. Like, we're just trying to use common sense on picking things apart. Pulling these components off, trying to figure it out.
What's the worst that could happen? Can't get any worse than it is now.
Yeah. I try to remind my viewers of that too. Like, so many people are scared that something's gonna go wrong, or like they're gonna strip a bolt and cause damage. And it's like, try to remind everybody that everything is fixable. Sometimes, sadly, it's a new engine. Sometimes it's a head gasket. Sometimes it's new hardware or a new radiator, you know, but at the end of the day, it is fixable.
I would agree.
Everything is fixable. All right, and that fan and shroud should just come right out. All right, I'm gonna pull this throttle body.
Nice. Is that a metal gasket?
Yeah. Okay, so our linkage, I'd rather not with this nut, and we'll just end up flopping the throttle body up and out of the way. It should be a 12 millimeter, which I just had with the electric ratchet. And then there's some other stuff underneath the throttle body. We gotta figure out those hoses. See, it's held on a little bit.
Yeah, we've got this one.
So we got these soft lines. This one goes down to...
Do we have enough room to flip it out of the way without taking them off?
Yeah, that's the goal. And then to pop that guy off, we use this little panel popper. Yeah, I think it's coolant. It's gotta be, because this has gotta be a big coolant plate, because thermostat flows into it. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's got a liquid cooled throttle
Take
body.
that, BMW.
And then one more hose. Do you see this one? It is coolant. And then yeah, we can just flop that. What I'm gonna do is let that soak for a sec. That way I think it'll stop dripping. Okay, we got lots of good room for the throttle body now. This is a fuel line that takes bank 1 to bank 2 to probably like equalize pressure. This intake manifold looks like it comes out in 2 pieces. You know, it's got this top piece of the plenum so you can like split and get inside there.
What's a plenum?
But plenum is just like the intake manifold or intake plenum. It's another word for it. So I would kind of call like the whole thing the manifold, and then this interior piece where all the air flows through it, this would probably be considered the plenum. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay. But I think that we can leave it together and we don't have to split it, because down here you can see a bunch of 12 millimeter bolts, and we should be able to leave the fuel injectors and the fuel rails attached to it as well, so we don't have to break the seals and reseal any of the injectors. Okay. So I'm just gonna go around and make sure that we're free overall manifold, and then we can start pulling that hardware. Little nut.
So we take the nuts off but leave the bolts.
Yeah, just so we don't have to fish them out. It's just no necesito. And we can start looking at these fuel lines. Okay, so there's one obvious fuel line we'll have to disconnect here. Don't know what it does, but it's a fuel line. You see that big chunky one on that side? Yeah. And then this hose doesn't go to manifold, so that's good. This one's disconnected. That goes to the back of the manifold.
Okay, I see that one.
This hose right here is your source vacuum for your brake booster. So brake booster needs engine vacuum to operate the power brakes. And normally it's like a rubber hose that goes to the intake manifold, but it actually goes rubber hose to a hard line and then has a banjo bolt that bolts onto the back for source vacuum.
Okay.
Which is, I haven't seen that before, but. Okay, so I'm gonna give you these here just in case. I'm gonna come up in here and just start to lift up on this thing a little bit. This fuel line that goes to this is a hard, rigid line. And actually, I think I might have just disconnected it. Let's see.
Yeah, I think you're freed.
Yeah, there's just one more little return line here. Come on, Bessie. Okay, we got some room. Got some rat poop in there. There's your starter.
Dang,
oh, and this truck doesn't have that air pump that I saw on another one.
Okay.
So just the starter.
Damn, that starter's buried.
Yeah, super buried. Well, we'll get a shop vac and suck out all the rat poop. Okay, that's better.
What comes next? Do we have to pull these off?
Yeah, so we'll have to pull the ignition coils and then pull the valve covers
Okay.
so we can get to the camshafts. We'll have to pull the timing cover too. What I want to work on next is seeing if we can get, one of these connectors is pretty buried actually, so we'll probably have to get to that one once we do the timing belt, but
Okay.
at least getting some of these connectors off. These little coolant bridges got to come out too. Okay. Take a lunch break, charge up,
Okay.
get some food. All right, we're back from lunch. Where we left off, we got the rear coolant crossover removed. We're gonna work on this front one. Evan's gonna work on pulling out the radiator because we need to get the impact gun down onto the crank pulley so we can pull out the bolt for the crank pulley. And then we're gonna start working on getting access to the timing covers here, which is gonna mean flopping the power steering pump out of the way. I think the alternator can stay. I think ChatGPT was wrong. I really think it's just coolant components, power steering, crank pulley, tensioner, then we can get access to the timing covers. If you can just grab this and hold that, and I'll work on getting this hose twisted off. I want just a catch pan real quick. I think that hose is gonna leak.
And that's oil. Oh no, that's trans fluid.
Coolant.
Coolant? Oh yeah.
Anytime it's on a low spot like that, you know,
Yep.
a lot more room on the front of the engine now. My suspicion was correct about the drain pan.
If you didn't have that there, bro.
We got Maker's Magic cardboard, so. I got a shop mop now too. That side looks way worse than this side.
Yeah, it does.
That side looks super bitchin' and clean. This side looks like it was about to give out.
Yep.
That wouldn't be a very fun coolant reseal either.
No.
But I think we got new gaskets for it. If not, that's why it's nice. Like, we'll take all this apart and then we can unbox some of that.
Yeah.
And start to see actually what we have, what we don't have. Okay, let's go up and we'll get the bottom bolt for the power steering pump.
Okay. You're looking clear.
There's multiple holes in the pulleys, so you can get them all out. No, it's just catching. We gotta do the power steering pump first. All right, we'll go back down for a sec. Clear.
I see what you
Almost there. We just gotta clear that stud.
mean. So close too.
Yeah, I think we can get it.
Oh, the never-ending stud.
Come on, baby. There we go.
Nice.
Well, that side of the engine looks mighty clear. A lot of room down there. We can do the belt tensioner next, now that we got access to the hardware. And so let's stick a sprocket on that crank pulley.
Is this all metric or standard?
It should be all metric. The Japs know what's up.
Coolant is my least favorite of the fluids.
Oh, it is 100% my least favorite.
It stinks.
It has this lubricity to it as well.
You got moving?
This little $100 Craftsman impact gun, dude, I've had for so many years now, and it's hasn't really let me down yet. Getting this pulley off is gonna be a different story. No,
Yeah, same distance.
it's still sticky.
Yeah, it just goes in like half a thread.
Yeah, we might need to go up so we can get better eyes on it. I think it might be easier for us to attack it from below than above. Oh yeah, I cleaned it and we was able to get a good amount of threads on there. I think that's enough.
Dude. Okay, here's the other bolt. I'll grab you the,
We'll snug them with the ratchet too. And if it feels crummy, probably might need a washer.
if we hadn't have looked, we wouldn't have known only 2 were threaded.
Yeah. The top one goes in great and I get a lot more revolution. So I think this other one will go in too. We just gotta work it in slow with the 1/4" ratchet.
All right. Oh, look, it's coming right off so easily, bro.
Oh my gosh.
Holy
It must have already been loose. I must have got it loose with the pry bar. I bet if we would have gone down there and just... Yeah, normally I can just pull off BMW cranks with my bare hands. Timing belt's actually a big job on this car.
Yeah, really big job.
Because this water pump's pretty buried. And you gotta pull the crank pulley off to get to the lower timing cover, and a good amount of stuff in here.
What's this called?
Lower timing cover. Oh, you know what? I'm wrong. This is strictly just an idler pulley for the fan. Water pump's gonna be up there. So this is just like an accessory fan clutch pulley.
Okay.
That's belt driven. Water pump is up there with that coolant passage. That's the water pump. So this is just this big accessory bracket. So we have to pull that bolt, we have to pull this nut, we have to pull that bolt, and then the bottom of the AC compressor bolts to the bottom of that. So we'll have to pull that bottom bolt for the compressor and that top bolt for the compressor, but the compressor can stay in place, I think. We might have to remove it to get the exhaust manifold though. Now we gotta pull these bolts for the AC compressor. That'll be AC compressor.
Okay.
And then I have to get this top one too, which we'll get from up top. I think that's the down bottom work. All right, so what I'm doing is I took out this bottom compressor bolt right here because it runs up and threads into this. And we have to get this off in order to get the belt off. And so now I need to take out this AC compressor bolt because it runs into there. And so I'm just trying to get access so we can pull this chingus off. Okay, I got the two bolts out. Now we can get this.
Yeah. All right, what do you got for me?
This is another AC compressor bolt.
AC compressor, got it. Check.
And then this is gonna be the start of this big fan bearing assembly.
All right, fan bearing assembly, got it.
I don't think there's anything else holding it.
Feels like there's something else holding it. Maybe right now, right here, you got that one.
No, that runs up through there. This one runs up through there. Took that bolt out, took that bolt out. Clear around.
Maybe you just need to hit it.
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah, just gotta massage it with the hammer. Okay, now we can finally get this harness out of the way.
Okay.
Now this harness can at least flop down out of the way. I don't have to disconnect it from there. Okay,
Looking good.
what's next?
Just cut this.
I don't freaking know. Honestly, we would be okay. We just couldn't rotate the engine anymore, but we can't even rotate it anyways because the crank bolt's out.
Okay.
Yeah, what we'll do is we'll work on valve covers, rocker covers next. You can start ripping down that passenger side, and then after we do that, we'll pull that section of exhaust that we pre-soaked, and then exhaust manifolds, and then we'll remove the belt. We have to pull these gears, these sprockets off the front of the camshaft, but we'll do that once we got these covers off. It looks like 10 millimeters for everything for the valve covers.
Probably gonna have to beat the shit out of that with a hammer. It looks sealed.
In a good way.
Yeah.
So the sub gear will probably be underneath here. It's here and it meshes intake to exhaust.
Ooh, look at those camshafts.
Yeah, we got cams. The only thing that we need to be cautious of is these cam caps.
Okay.
They need to be removed in reverse order of installation. And so we'll look that up. And then, yeah, they're numbered. Getting closer. Honestly, we're not that far. And I just realized too, we might not even have to drop the exhaust. I think we can pull the nuts for the exhaust flanges and take them out with the cylinder head.
Oh, okay.
Because we have enough room on the sides. Once we pull it up and separate it, we'll just wiggle it out and bring them out with it, and we'll remove them on the car.
All right, cool.
Off the car. Next is we need to get these blocks pulled out.
Okay.
These jobs test you, man.
Yeah, they do.
Like, a lot of people think it's just like nuts and bolts, but
No, sir. Can the spark plugs get out of order?
yeah.
Got 1 out of 8.
The intake manifold and getting these cylinder heads out, they're gonna be freaking heavy.
Yep.
It's a backbreaker.
Okay, spark plugs are out.
Okay, spark plugs are out, bolt is back in the crank, harmonic balancer is removed, but it's still fine. We got a tight crank bolt. Now we're gonna rotate this.
Spark plug socket is back. Okay.
Okay.
Top dead center.
Marked,
Now we know where they go back.
marked. Well, you're
put
never
them
supposed
back.
to rotate backwards.
So you're gonna go a little bit further.
I'm just gonna go for another full revolution. We also need to just confirm, because just make sure that the cam lobes are pointing up on cylinder number 1. That should be cylinder 1 TDC. I haven't done timing work in a long time.
Do you have a timing gun?
I do, but that's just for distributors. Like BMWs, it's timing chain, and so you have to have a specific timing chain kit for every engine.
Oof.
But because this is timing belt, you just got to line up marks.
Okay.
So I was tripping. I was like, oh, what tools am I going to need for this cylinder head job? But I was like, oh, it's a timing belt. We don't need a timing kit.
Okay.
So we have lobes pointing up on intake and lobes pointing up on exhaust. We're marked.
Okay, so yeah, top dead center, there's no pressure on the camshafts right now.
At least for cylinder number
Except
1.
for number 2.
We're still going to have a little bit of pressure on other cylinders because they're not, they're not all going to be facing up.
Yeah.
But TDC for number 1 is most important, so we're good. And then another way you can check too is just like, sometimes I'll take a screwdriver like this and put it in the spark plug tube, and I'll watch it rise. And just compare it like, okay, that one's really down. So cam lobes are up and cylinder is at the top.
Okay.
So this should be the tensioner here. It's gotta be. There's a bolt there, here. Oh, there's the 2 bolts right there.
Oh, hey, look at that. All right, that makes sense. Oh, that looks complicated and weird.
Yeah, so that's the little hydraulic plunger there.
All right, so then this is called the...
Timing belt tensioner. Now we got a slack belt, and these pulleys, these cam sprockets are not the same. They're different. This one doesn't have a ridge, this one does, so the belt has to go on this one first. So that means it comes off this one first.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you do the honor of taking off the timing belt on your truck.
Sure.
Boom. Baby.
Let's go.
Timing belt's off. Okay, so next what we'll do is we can pull the sprockets. Okay, so what we'll do is we're gonna find a wrench that fits onto the camshaft here. So what we're gonna do is, at least what I've done on BMWs, we'll take this 24 wrench and I'm gonna hold this and then we're gonna break this loose.
All right.
Probably use an impact gun, I think, just to keep from putting stress on it. Okay, this is passenger side. Okay, sprockets are off. They got little keyways on there. So next, it looks like we'll have to get these upper timing plates removed, I think.
Okay, so I see bolt here.
Yeah, because they bolt through into the cylinder
here.
head. So, and then we'll have to remove this cam sensor on this side. So let's start tinkering with that. Let's start with pass driver. That's a lot of parts, dude.
Yeah, bro.
Same on this side. Okay, next step is going to be taking off these front cam sprocket thingamabobbers.
Yeah, it's like the front cam holder, maybe?
Yeah. It's moving the camshaft a little bit. I saw things jostle back there a little bit too, so I want to double check.
Okay.
But we can start pulling hardware on that side.
All right.
If you want to crack on that. I think we need to consider these as part of the camshaft caps. And so I think we should look up the process for all the other cam bearing caps.
All right.
Because you might have already pulled the first one.
All right.
But let's just start on this side. We need to make notice of our oil feed line to the center.
Well, there's no one I'd rather work on my truck with, dude.
Likewise, brother. I've released them all in sequence. They're all nice and loose. I haven't heard anything release tension yet.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4.
Number ones are in here, and then this is I2, I3, I4, I5 with arrows pointing towards the front. E2, E3, E4, E5.
Okay.
So we'll be able to know.
All right.
You know, I'm just trying to do this the right way, which it was like remove and get 1 to 2 turns on the center.
Okay, it's coming loose.
This camshaft caps are pretty much fully loose. I think the tension should be released.
Except for underneath this cap,
Yeah, except for underneath that cap.
which is the only thing I'm worried about because it could, but it doesn't feel like it's under tension.
But I haven't really felt any spring pressure either.
No. Do you think there's spring pressure under here?
It's possible, but like there's no way for us to relieve the pressure in that unless we were to have like pulled the bolts out for it evenly with all the other cam caps.
I think we took them out already. We took the bolts out already.
We did. And that would probably be
Yeah, because those 2 long boys had oil on them.
these 2 main bolts there.
And so these aren't tight under here then, basically.
I think we'll be fine. I've pulled.
Cool. Yeah, it's a Toyota. Top. Ooh, look at those valves. Or valve, beginning of the valve rods.
Yeah, so those will be the lifters.
Lifters, that's the word.
Okay, now we do it again.
Rocking and rolling, dude. See, it just goes to show you can never get all the oil out of an engine.
No.
Nicely done, sir. It's in the exact same position.
Okay, timing belt's off. Looking pretty good. Oh my goodness.
What?
We could have pulled the power steering pump off right here with this bracket.
Well, now we know.
We're gonna have to pull that bracket for the machine shop anyways. I'll do that while you're sucking. All right, there might be something like, see, like there's a little bolt here for the transmission that bolts to that. And like another little bolt back here for whatever this, oh, that's a ground strap from there to body. Okay. Let's go underneath and let's break the exhaust manifolds loose, and then we'll bring her back down for the final time, and we'll free up any hardware that's in the back, and then we're gonna pull these head bolts in series again. Again, we're gonna do the sequence.
Okay.
And cylinder heads are coming out. I think we can keep the exhaust manifolds in. I think we can pop it up and then,
all right.
Especially with these hooks still, and that's gonna prevent us from having to go down here to all this rusty hardware.
Yeah.
Which I can guarantee you that some are gonna be seized.
Yep.
And some are probably gonna snap.
Okay, so exhaust manifolds right here.
Yeah, takes all 4 cylinders.
So we're just gonna leave it on.
Yeah, we'll leave it on and then we'll take it out and we'll do it on the ground. Boy, those are tight.
You need a breaker bar?
I mean, this thing's freaking long.
It is.
There's one.
Nice. You bust it loose?
Yeah.
Oh, you just needed some more beef. Nice, bro. Other side.
There goes the stud.
Ooh, stud came off.
Yeah, stud snapped. It's okay, I bought a kit.
I
knew it.
You foresaw. Nice.
Oh, okay. That one's backing off. I just beat myself up trying to get it out.
Yep.
Just rip it out with the impact gun. Jeez, impact gun doesn't even want to get it. Yeah, that stud is spinning. That's a challenge. Okay, so now we got one problem to figure out. I think we can sneak a Sawzall in there and just cut the stud.
Oh yeah, we can.
Okay, safety spectacles. That blade worked really good.
Yeah, it did.
Okay, that side's loose and pulled down. Okay, cracking the cylinder heads loose. Working from inside to out, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Okay, I did these.
7, 8.
Right here?
Yep. Yeah, if you did the insides, then we'll go there, and then down here, and then there, and up here. There's really like nothing that's holding them under pressure or tension, you know? There's no springs, but it's a good workout.
Okay, they're broken loose.
Yep, now we'll just rip them out with the 3/8 ratchet, and we can just use that extension, and I got a 3/8 to 1/2 inch adapter, and we'll just
Head job, dude. All right, so we got that. You got the trans fixed.
yeah, dude, this cylinder head's gonna come off.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna come off.
She's loose. All right, let me put these bolts
It's
in
gonna
order.
be heavy and it's gonna dumb. They don't have to be in order either. Those some beefcake bolts. Okay, get up in here and check the back side. Yep, there's another bolt there. A 10 millimeter and a 12 millimeter. There's gonna be so much stuff to put back together on this truck, dude.
I know. It's daunting.
It is daunting, but we'll figure it out. Oh, we broke the seal on the cylinder head. It's okay. We're gonna make a bloodbath, but I'll just mop it up. If I can, I might need your hands.
Okay, let me know.
It's gonna be heavy. I'll attempt it. This is what we weight lift for. Woo! I got a wire.
Okay, I can DC it.
Oh, it's for the upstream O2. Got it.
There's your pistons.
Damn, son. Coolant in there.
Yeah, well, it wasn't in the cylinders, but when we pulled it and opened the water jackets, it all dumped in. Okay, time to...
we did it on one side, bro.
It's time to start cracking bank 1. So you're gonna take the lifters out, clean them, reinstall them, disassemble the valve springs from the valve stems.
Okay.
And then install new valve stem seals in the base of the cylinder head.
Okay.
Then reinstall everything, which is a common source of oil consumption. I don't think this truck consumes, but...
It doesn't consume much oil or burn it.
BMWs is super common. Those valve stem seals wear out.
I can see people driving around town. I'm like, you got bad valve guide seals, dude. I can see the oil burning.
Yeah, when they step on the accelerator after sitting at a stoplight idling.
Yeah, it's really common.
I used to do it on Mini Coopers and BMW V8s a lot, and we would actually do the valve stem seals in the car without removing the cylinder head. Okay.
We did it. Almost. Almost.
And then our final task to really wrap up the day will be putting this thing, covering the engine bay, covering the block and things with like some trash bags. So if it rains, we don't get water in there that causes any rust.
We have to push it out?
And then put the wheels on it, and then we'll push it out in neutral. And I'll move the convertible and we'll just push it out into a spot so I can continue to use this, because it might be like a week until the cylinder heads are done.
All right.
But I'll have them dropped off on Monday. Something's hanging up in the back corner by your hand.
I don't see it binding up on that.
Oh, I found it.
Oh, you did?
It's try like a 12mm wrench. I can see it.
Oh, okay.
You see it when it comes out. I got it now.
Okay. All right, so when you pull that out, there's an O2 sensor clip I gotta grab.
Yeah.
But now you should be able to lift it. I might be able to grab it from back in here.
Yeah, I can. I'll be able to lift it better this time.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah. Just don't drop it. Otherwise my hand will break. I need something. I can't get it with my hands. I need two hands.
Okay, that O2 sensor wire's tight. Let me get in there. Yeah, we're gonna have to set the cylinder head back down and maybe go up with the vehicle. That wiring harness routing through that heat shield is really stupid.
It is.
I don't know if it's supposed to be like that or not.
All right, we can lower it down now.
Oh yeah, strong boy. So there's that good amount of scoring on 4, but we're gonna let it ride.
We did it. We got the heads off. Nice job, bro.
6 hours later, camshaft. Cam caps removed. Cylinder heads with the exhaust manifold still bolted on. No, we gotta hope that those exhaust manifolds treat us nicely too.
Oh yeah.
Forgot about that part. Mm-hmm. Timing belt removed, down to the block. About 6 hours. Now we're gonna throw the wheels back on, push this thing back outside so I can continue to work this week while we send the heads off to the machine shop. Here is our table full of parts: spark plugs, hubcaps, lug nuts, tensioner, power steering hardware, ignition coils, crank pulley, alternator, airbox, engine cover, timing covers, thermostat and crossover pipes, everything. Lots and lots and lots of parts. I sprayed down all the cylinders with some PB Blaster silicone spray, and then we bagged all this over just in case if it does rain, any water gets down into the engine bay over the next week. All this will be nice and protected. And yeah, we're gonna get the wheels on it, get this thing pushed outside. I forgot the windows are down. So, all right, let's pull fuel pump here.
I see the door open light was flashing on and off when you were wiggling.
Oh, because the ground. Okay, ready? I'm gonna slap the ground on. Both sides good?
Both sides good. It's in neutral.
Okay, batteries DC'd.
Could have been worse.
Yeah, we're good. The fuel pump will like automatically cycle to prime the engine, usually when you key cycle. So without that, we're chilling.
Steering's unlocked.
Beautiful.
Where are we going?
I'm gonna move the giveaway car and we'll go out and we'll just cut it. We'll like walk it out slow, and then once we get it out there, I'll open the door because I can push and steer. I'm kind of used to it from back in the day. All right, last item of the day, we got to get these exhaust manifolds off to get it ready for the machine shop. I tested on one nut.
And mop.
And we have to mop and clean up this absolute mess of a shop, but I got one off. So that's a good sign. So I don't want to take this heat shield off. So we'll try to work around it. Yeah, we'll have to pull the heat shield off for these bottom ones, so.
No choice.
Yeah, see these ones, you have good access, these bottom ones.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, we can't get in there.
All right.
But it'll be okay. Perfect. There's your header.
Yeah, look at that.
Doesn't look as beefy as the race cars.
We're just gonna run a straight pipe, dude. Take this off.
Bro, if we ran this car without like a exhaust manifold on it, we'd be shooting flames out the cylinder head.
Oh, 100%.
Be sick.
You wanna take the gaskets off or leave them?
Oh, we can pull them off. Okay, that one's good. I will admit, I have dropped a cylinder head on the ground before, and I reinstalled it in the car.
Ooh.
It was okay. Okay, a little bit of cleanup, organization, we done. The shop is cleaned up. The giveaway car is back in the barn. I'm giving that car away, by the way, in case you guys aren't aware of that. I'll link the description down below, the whole giveaway series where we're storing the car and we're giving it away to one of my subscribers for completely free. But parts, cylinder heads, exhaust manifolds. We tried to extract some of the studs and they were literally snapping off on us. So we're gonna send them off to the machine shop. They can weld some nuts on there and hopefully get them out for us. Cam caps, head bolts, exhaust studs, camshafts, more cam caps, more head bolts. All the parts, ready to go. I'll try to get some shots for you guys at the machine shop. I'm gonna drop the heads off in 2 days on Monday to get resurfaced, new valve stem seals, cleaned, pressure checked, vacuum checked. Hopefully they're good. And I'll see you guys back whenever. I don't really know yet. We'll see. Good morning. We're heading down to the engine shop to drop off the cylinder heads and the exhaust manifolds. A little bit of prep work that I did this morning. Let me show you. I pulled out the lifters so I don't lose them on the highway. I also pulled off these engine lift brackets so they're not in the way of the machine shop. I got all these lifter pucks lined out and oriented. Oops, there goes some head bolts. And then I also opened up the head gasket kit and I got the valve stem seals out because we need to supply the valve stem seals with the cylinder heads for remachining. Let's go get these heads dropped off, introduce ourselves to the guys. I don't know if I'll be able to get any shots down there, but we'll try. You ready? Load up. Woo! Wally's Engine Shop. Cylinder head update. I talked to Matt from the machine shop today and he says that we have some issues with the valves. The valves aren't sealing and holding pressure. So on top of machining, cleaning, pressure checking the cylinder heads, we also need to do a valve job. All right, gang, we're heading back down to the machine shop and here is the scoop. I talked to Matt this morning. He pressure tested the cylinder heads and he said that the valves were leaking. So on top of us needing to clean the cylinder heads, pressure check them, vacuum check them, and resurface them, the valves aren't sealing. So the cylinder heads need a valve job. Now, when they do the valve job, it's possible that we may need to replace some of the valves. And in order to replace the valves and also adjust the valves, I have to get the camshafts and the camshaft caps in the vehicle, as well as the lifters. Underneath those little lifter pucks is a shim, and those shims need to be removed and adjusted in order to set the valve adjustment. I had to pull the camshafts in order to get access to the cylinder head bolts. So if they're gonna do a valve job, as well as adjust the valves, they need the camshafts and all of the cam caps and the lifters. So instead of me bringing down all those individual parts to the machine shop, I'm gonna go down and pick up the cylinder heads, take them back home and reassemble them, and then bring them back down, and then we can continue with the cylinder head rebuild. At the same time, I also took pictures of the scoring on the cylinder walls so I can show it to Matt and get his opinion on whether he thinks the block is still good or not. And on top of that, he also has a loaner tool and it's used to pull vacuum on each individual piston to see if it's leaking, see if the block and the pistons and the rings are still good. So I'm gonna go down there, show him the photos, pick up the cylinder heads and take them home, and also borrow his tool so I can check the block and the pistons. If he gives me the okay on the photos, and if I get the okay on the vacuum check, we're gonna continue with the cylinder head rebuild and clean them, machine the surfaces, do a complete valve job, and possibly replace some valves. If he thinks that the block might not be good based off photos,
or if the vacuum check comes back as bad, then we're going to probably scrap the engine. I'm not going to rebuild it, I don't think. And we'll try to maybe find a used engine or find another purpose for the truck. So maybe I'll get some shots of the machine shop. I'll see you then.
It's just it's gonna be a turbo, the Honda.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Does the sleeve come all the way out to there?
Yeah, that's the sleeve.
So, and then coolant passages?
Yeah, and the only reason this looks like this is because I had to glass bead it, because all of this was all rusty.
Got it.
Yeah. And,
it's cool to see, dude. This is my first time like legit in the back of a machine shop seeing the real deal. Yeah. Looks like those are the exhaust manifolds.
Yeah, if you want to go check it out.
Yeah, let's go check it out. You guys slapping some nuts on there?
Yeah, welded some nuts on them. Right now I'm going to get the torch out, because the only way to really do this is to get it hot. Move this out.
Yeah, you got to get them smoking hot.
Yeah.
If I had a welder at home, I would have attempted it, but yeah, the nubs were so short. We got one out with a pipe wrench.
Yeah, no, I got you, yeah.
Look at all these heads. Oh, that's so cool. You guys are really organized too. Like the shop space is clean.
We really try our best around here to do that.
It's hard, dude. It's a constant battle in a shop space. I know how that goes.
This is kind of a cool thing. This has been an ongoing project since I was in high school, but this is Dad's Cobra.
Oh, wow.
It's a factory 5 King car.
Wonder what this thing is worth nowadays. Look at that exhaust. I love that exhaust, dude.
Oh man, I wish I had some 110.
Long tubes. This looks like a big old monster too.
Yeah, here. This is our latest.
Holy cow.
Yeah, this is our latest finish real quick.
That thing is a monster.
572.
I don't know if I've ever seen such a big engine on a stand before. Hot socket. This is a real OG machine shop, folks. 100%. So these has got to be our cylinder heads here. Nice and cleaned up.
If you look at the gauge.
Yeah, we're pulling vacuum. So it's a leak down tester, but for the bottom end.
Yeah. So you don't, if you don't have the heads on, you can't do it that way. This gets the ring seal, so you know if it's stuff's going by the ring.
All right, dude. Man, I've been learning so much just from talking to you guys the last 24 hours on this job.
Yep.
I'll get these home, get to work, and
thanks, buddy. I really appreciate it.
You changed your name today.
I like to be dad sometimes. You know?
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, dude. Well, I'll get vacuum pulled on these today. I'll give you a ring later.
I appreciate it. God bless, all right?
Yeah. God bless, brother.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
Talk soon. Here's our vacuum gauge for pulling vacuum on the block. Man, I've been learning so much through this process already. How they pull vacuum on the valves. What constitutes a good valve versus a bad valve. The fact that this thing got so hot it caused bluing on the intake valves. Getting their opinion on the scoring on the cylinder walls. Pulling vacuum on these pistons and rings to see if the block and lower end is still good. Like, man, I'm learning so much. This has definitely been an intimidating and a daunting job. Jumping into a Toyota head gasket job pretty much blind, you know, never having really touched a Toyota before, but boy, we are learning, and that is what this channel is all about. So I'll see you guys when I get home with these cylinder heads. We'll pull some vacuum on the block and we'll keep going from there. Okay, here's a look at the bottom end of those valves, bottom end of the cylinder head. All right, we got to get the air hose out to the truck so we can pull vacuum on those pistons in the block. Fingers crossed Matt and the guys use the same air hose connections as I do. Yes. Trash bags. We're gonna have to wipe down these block surfaces too. Well, I ran out of brake cleaner, so we're gonna have to use isopropyl alcohol today. Get these things are wiped down. We need to be able to get a decent sealing surface on the block, although there's a lot of gasket material still left on here, so we'll do our best. Okay, so what we're gonna have to do is put the ratchet on here. Hopefully this ratchet will keep it from spinning. I have it bottomed out there on the AC compressor, because as we pull vacuum on these pistons, it's gonna make them wanna rotate. Okay, now we're looking for negative 15 inches of mercury on each. If it's below, no good. I gotta ask Matt if it's with the piston down or not. Let's try with the piston down, because I feel like that's gonna expose more. You know what I mean? Okay, that's holding at 15 inches. So number one is good.
Okay, I just called to confirm with Matt. The piston can't be up top at TDC because then the tool will just suction onto the piston. So it needs to be anywhere from the bottom to the middle, but it can't be up top. So let's just keep going on these next ones. First one was at 15 inches of mercury. Cylinder number 3, 15 inches steady. Cylinder 5. Okay, so it goes up to like 18 and then it drops down to like 13 and then it settles back around 15. I don't know how I'm gonna get access to this last piston, but figure it out. I'm gonna need an inspection mirror to look at the gauge. 16. Okay, so 15, 16 across bank 1. Time to check bank 2. 19. I don't really know where maybe it's the end number, but that one's okay. This is a problem child, so fingers crossed, folks. Up to 19, holding at 17. All right, well, that's good news so far. We got one more to check. Need my inspection mirror. Okay, about 17 and a half, 18. So Matt and Tom said 15 is the bear, and everything tested 15 and above. I just got to give them a call and confirm what the number was, because it starts at like 20 and then it dipped down to like 13 and then came back up and settled at 15. So this bank 2 actually had better pressure than bank 1, which is funny. Better vacuum. Sages go for hunting. She's just listening to them and looking for them. Hey Matt, last phone call for the day, man, I promise. I pulled vacuum on all 8. See ya. All right, according to the machine shop dudes, which they know so much more than me, especially on blocks and cylinder heads, we're good to go. 15 inches of mercury minimum on all 8 cylinders. So we have to reassemble the camshafts, cam caps, lifters, shims, bolt it all back together and then retransport these cylinder heads back down to the machine shop fully assembled. So I got another customer coming right now with a F15X5 with a compressor failure. So I got to get that ready and then work on the heads tonight and then do more. That doesn't matter. I'll see you guys when I work on the heads. Today, we have to put all of these valve train components back into the cylinder heads so we can bring them back down to the machine shop fully assembled. Let's get started. Now, underneath all of these lifter caps are these little shims. And I didn't realize that they were in there when I took them out, but it's very important that I know that now so I can reinstall all of them. So this is E1, going towards the forward exhaust intake. Let's drop the shim in. Engine assembly lubricant. How do we get them to match? All right, cool. So I've been struggling to get these 2 cams synced up. There's a spring-loaded sprocket here on the backside that I forgot to put a bolt in order to clock it into the correct position. And just doing research and looking online, I just can't find any really good resources on how to get these camshafts back installed. And, you know, just super bitching because right now, yeah, they're just floating and they're lined up to where intake and exhaust is going to open at the same time, which would be absolutely terrible. We'd have 0 compression. So, all right, cool. We're just going to slap the cam caps on and just get this thing down to the boys. Okay, these are loosely put back together. Now we transport them back down to the machine shop. You goober. You little goober. You want to go run some errands with me? Yeah. There she is. All right, heading down to the machine shop for the second to final trip. Cylinder heads are dropped off for the final time. Now you know you found the right machine shop when you ask them about cleaning the block surface and they give you the exact tool that they use to clean the block surface. This is actually a Blue Point brush. It's 6/1000 thickness wire brush. Now this is sold off the Snap-on truck. Blue Point is one of Snap-on's sub-brands. It's probably like a $30 brush and the dude just hooks me up with it. They're just so kind. He's gonna show me exactly how the camshafts go back in. He's gonna put a bolt into the exhaust cam sprocket and get that clock because there's a little spring in there, but we'll cover all that later on. I just really wanna sing these guys praise because they've just been extremely helpful. I was calling them like 3 times yesterday afternoon while I was pulling vacuum on the block, and I even called them again this morning. I was like, hey, you know, can I just put these cams in loose? Do you guys need them all dialed in? They're like, no, we're gonna pull them right back off. You can leave everything loose. So super excited. I'm gonna get back to all the other work I have for the rest of the week, and we'll wait to hear from these guys. We'll come pick the cylinder heads up and start putting this truck back together. I'll see you then. It is cylinder head pickup day. We're heading down to Wally's Engine Shop in Eureka, California for the final pickup to get these cylinder heads and exhaust manifolds. So I got the camera, I got the puppy, I got the tripod. I'll see you guys when we get down there. How's biz?
Pretty good. Yeah.
Sick, man.
I didn't charge you for any of this exhaust stuff.
I appreciate you, dude.
Because for one, I forgot. And then also this is, a great customer, so let's just throw it in there,
I'm so stoked to have you guys as a resource now too.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a MIG welder yet. You guys got a TIG, you got a MIG, you guys know how to machine.
I TIGged all day yesterday almost.
That's awesome. That's sick.
I TIG welded right there. There's one spot I look like I
nice.
missed. But I also hit the inside. Don't worry about this. This thing will seal, no problem.
Yeah.
And then this side, I TIG welded this whole inside right here. They're all done up, ready to go. Oh, this is what we're talking.
The bolt. That's what I wanted
know.
to go over, and that's what I wanted to show on video. Maybe we can throw them up on the bench real quick.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Upon install, take the cams out. Cam caps, keep them all in order. They're numbered anyways. If you see right here, you have a double dot. So when you assemble this back in, you put these cams back in this head, those have to be dot to dot.
Yeah.
And once you have this head on and that head on, and they are assembled dot to dot, on that head and this head.
And the cam caps
and everything is
torqued.
Everything is torqued down. You have silicone under this cap so you can make sure nothing leaks.
And you need to silicone it just here where it seals up against the cylinder head surface.
I'll show you. So right here, everywhere, like right here.
Oh, it's got that factory passage.
Right here. Yeah, right here. So you're gonna go right here, along here, like right here. And then you're gonna go along here, just to where it seals, to where none of this oil is gonna creep out. And then you're gonna go from this spot. Also, when you put the cam seal in, put a little bit of silicone right here.
Where they made.
A little bit right here, and then a little bit right here, and a little bit right here. So right there is where, when you go to install it, that's where this needs to be when you hook the timing up and all that.
Got it.
Yeah. And then your cam gear will show you exactly where the timing gear, like the timing needs to be.
All right, dude. Bitchin'.
Yeah, dude. If you have any questions, always feel free to ask.
I appreciate it. And that's why I'm stoked I went with you guys, because you've been so helpful. You allowed me to vacuum test the pistons and cylinders, and all that came back well.
And you have my phone number, so you can call me anytime you want. If you have any help, the only thing is, if you want me to come out there and help you, you have to come pick me up because I don't drive.
All right, cool. I'll throw you some cash too, dude.
I ain't worried about it. I'm always down to help. Always.
Super appreciate it, man. That's so definitely huge in the automotive community, Like, when we step out of our comfort zones, we have to be able to lean on people that are subject matter experts and know more than us, And if you ever ran into a situation where you're doing some work on a BMW or trying to resell any surfaces, I'd be an absolute open book and would be glad to help. But
I showed all my buddies your YouTube and your videos, and they're like, "What? No way! There's so many things on here that I have friends that have BMWs, and I never knew how to do this, and now I know,
Yeah,
so.
And that's what it's all about, dude. It's all about community.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. There's a lot of people that were always really active in my comment section, and I made a Discord community, and now I got like 300 subscribers from my channel all in there.
That's cool.
And they're posting pictures and videos of their weekend projects, and they're asking questions and posting check engine lights, and everybody's supporting each other. Like,
That's cool.
I've seen that before. You should look here and there, because I can't respond to everything, and I can't be involved in all those conversations.
That's a lot of
But
time
we're able to
consuming.
create a community where people can step up and really help each other.
That's awesome,
and
dude.
give back. And
because a lot of people don't know, and they need to have the know-how, and the only way to do that is to do research. And who wants to do that when you can find that page like somebody's already done it?
Exactly. Or have someone walk you through it. Or
Exactly.
show you, or you can do it hands-on.
Explain it like the way that you do, and the way that you explain to the T, you can't beat that because you go through every step, and people are like, "Wow, he went into such detail with this." You can't mess it up. My YouTube always tells me when you post something, and I watch it every time. So
Sick.
I look forward to it, bro. Definitely.
I appreciate it, man. Well, I'll keep you in the loop when next video comes out, and when the Toyota video comes out.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Always, and feel free to always call me anytime you need anything. All right.
I appreciate it.
I'm
man.
always here to help. Always.
I appreciate it.
Definitely.
Welcome back to the garage. I hope you guys enjoyed those couple clips we got at the machine shop. We are tearing back into the truck. Evan's on his way over here in about an hour. We're gonna put in a big 8 to 10 hour wrench session today. I did start working on the truck last night just to sort of get things prepped for this big wrench fest today. We didn't get too much done, but let me show you what I got accomplished. I slapped in our new remanufactured Denso starter. I also sucked out some rat turds from inside the block there. But starter's all torqued up and ready to go. Another thing I did on these fresh cylinder heads is I popped out these little cam covers. They were held in with some 26-year-old, 24-year-old Toyota Bond. One of them came out while we were removing the valve covers, so I wanted to clean all those up. I used some black Right stuff, the 1 minute cure stuff, and I got all those cleaned up and secured back in. Another thing I did is I installed all 16 exhaust studs and nuts. I also put the exhaust manifolds back on, and then we had those studs extracted from the machine shop. I ran a tap through there, and I bought some fresh M10 by 1.25 hardware and threw some hardware into the backside with some split locking washers. I did have some Dorman exhaust studs that I picked up from Rock Auto, but I wasn't happy with the design and setup. I think this is gonna be a lot more stout, and we'll be able to get a real nice torque on those exhaust manifold flanges. Now, since we pulled the cylinder heads out with the exhaust manifolds, I figured we would be just fine putting the cylinder heads in with the exhaust manifolds installed. We are gonna have to pull the camshafts out again today in order to get access to the head bolts. But before we jump into that, I figured I might as well start on the disassembly of the timing belt and get that water pump replaced. Just to give you guys a little layout, I did get the truck up on the lift. I pulled the tires so we can get this thing a little lower to the ground so these fenders are more comfortable to work with. I got all 4 tires over here. As far as parts, I got some parts laid out. We got a Continental belt tensioner and a Continental belt. We got our valve covers, Victor Rein's timing cover gasket set, intake gaskets, cylinder head gaskets, camshaft seals, exhaust flange seals, throttle body, more valve cover stuff. We have a new Aisin thermostat with a seal. We have new Molle head bolts. I also have an updated oil pressure switch, as that was probably our issue as to why we were seeing low oil pressure. Denso oil filter, 7 quarts of Liquimolle 530, new drain plug, new seal, and then some other miscellaneous stuff. We got some pink Toyota coolant. We got our old starter I gotta send in for core, all our lug nuts, our box of all our hardware, and box of all our parts, and then cylinder heads that are dialed in and ready to go. New exhaust valves, new valve stem seals, remachined surface that'll mate to the block. It was also adjusted, put the camshafts in it. They had to order up some new shims for underneath the little lifter pucks, and heads are dialed. We have our new Aisin timing belt kit. I just got the water pump pulled out, got the instruction manual pulled out for our 2000 to 2008 Toyota 4.7 liter V8. We have our water pump gasket and O-ring set, and then we have our new timing belt, sticker, tensioner, pulleys, all that good stuff. So before Evan shows up, let's get started on pulling off some of these pulleys. That way we can get access to removing that water pump. And then once we get that installed, I'm gonna come over here and start hitting this block surface, get that all cleaned up down to bare metal. For that, I've been using this Blue Point snap-on wire bristle brush that Matt from Wally's Engine Shop gave me. And it worked really, really good on the cylinder heads when I was cleaning up those little cam covers. So we'll use this to Matt's recommendation and get that block surface all dialed in. Shout out to UC90 for sharing the Toyota factory service manual with me. Let's get that pulled up on Google Drive. We're gonna be using this as a reference today for the reinstallation. Next step, I'm gonna knock out the water pump, but this tensioner pulley and idler pulley for the timing belt's in the way. So we got big 10mm Allen socket to knock out this bolt for the tensioner pulley. Same story for this timing belt idler pulley. All right, let's pop this little chingus out from the water pump to the lower timing cover. We'll start ripping out this water pump. It's like a bunch of 12s. Might be some coolant left over in the block after we pull this, so I got a drain pan under. This stud came out when we were busting something loose on top of it, so pull that too. I think that's everything. Nice, no spillage. Gasket came off with the pump, so we'll just use this wire brush and start cleaning up this mating surface. Need to go a little bit more abrasive with it, so go some red Scotch-Brite. There's definitely a little bit of etching in on the block right there at that gasket, but might just do a light smear, some black Right stuff, just for a little extra protection. Don't want to have to go back in and do this water pump. Fresh blade on the razor scraper. We're gonna need some abrasives to really get this thing cleaned up.
I think I'm gonna hit it with my red Scotch-Brite wheel. Now I love using Scotch-Brite discs, and this one's a blue, which is a fine, and it's used. So I want the least abrasive material to clean this up. Last thing I wanna do is take any meat off of the actual block. So get a little bit better angle for this light. Let's try to clean some of this stuff up. It's not even strong enough to take the rust off up there in the top right corner, so I know it's gonna be gentle enough. The blue honestly isn't aggressive enough because I can still go with the razor blade and catch edge on this gasket material. So I'm just gonna keep scraping, switch to a red disc, and just keep going until I got a nice flat surface that I'm confident with. Gotta get all these high spots off. I'm probably gonna spend like 30 minutes on this thing. I'm gonna try a used red disc now, and if that doesn't get the job done, then we're gonna switch to a new red disc. That's the money right there. Now I can see the pitting on the block that's underneath it. There's gasket material hiding that. I got a line, but it's not raised. I can feel that there though. So we need to hit this bottom line. That's super nice right there. That's pretty good. I can see it, but that's pretty dang flush. I don't want to go too hard right there at the bottom, so go one more pass, call it good. All right, let's pick this O-ring out. I'm still not happy with this spot right next to this dowel. I can just barely catch an edge. I am not doing this water pump twice. Absolutely not. All right, a little brake cleaner, clean shop rag. Let's give this thing a wipe down. New O-ring going on. A little bit of seal glide. All right, for this next part, I'm gonna use some of this Permatex Right stuff. I use this for the cam covers too, and really hope this thing works after last night's session. There we go. Instead of throwing down a bead on the water pump and applying too much, I'm gonna put some here on a piece of cardboard and apply a really thin smear with my finger, because a little goes a long way with this stuff. I'm not a silicone guy, but I'm doing this because there's pitting on the gasket surface. But I'm literally pushing really hard and just putting a micro smear on there. That's why I didn't want to lay a bead. I did look it up, and Permatex Right stuff, one, it comes highly recommended from all my mechanic friends. And two, it is safe on cooling systems. But on BMWs, I am not a silicone guy, unless it's their factory. Okay, let's get this gasket and water pump put back on. The kit that did come with new water pump bolts. Super thin smear on there. The gasket looks symmetrical, as in both sides have the same style lip, and I'm going to pre-install this onto the block because the dowels here will hold it in place for me. But it's the block surface that's pitted, not the water pump surface. Put a bunch of seal glide on that inside port for that water pipe. Torque spec is 19 Newton meters. While we're here working down below, let's knock out this crank seal real quick. So we're gonna have to snug this crank bolt up in the future. It's not leaking, but I ordered it just in case. So let's knock it out. So for installation, I know it needs to be flush with the timing cover. We're committed now. Might just go with the screw method. Take a self tapper, put it dead center in the seal. There you go. You always wanna check on the backside and make sure your spring didn't come out, which my spring's still in place. No! I just knocked over a big old bottle of trans fluid. I gotta clean that up. So not only am I gonna lube up the backside of this, or the outside of this seal with some Seal Glide, but I'm also going to take some Seal Glide and I'm going to smush it into the backside. That way, as we hammer this seal in, that spring on the backside won't come out. This Seal Glide or the silicone grease is gonna hold it in there. All right, let's try to get this seal started. Sometimes the lip will catch on the crank hub there. Just take a plastic tool and open up that lip. Should be able to just get this thing started with my thumb. That's looking great. Want to make sure that lip doesn't fold over on you. All right, that thing looks bitchin'. Check the bottom side with the mirror. Looks great. Before I install this cam gear, I'm gonna throw it in the ultrasonic parts cleaner just to get any oil and debris off of here so it doesn't get on the timing belt. This sucker is fresh out the parts washer and nice and hot. I'm just gonna take a brush here. Just make sure there's no debris left in there. You can kind of see A little bit of stuff in there. I just want this thing perfect. It's gonna take me a lot longer to do this job, but I'm just really trying to make sure we do it right. All right, looks good. Let's drop this thing back down. I'm gonna throw this bolt in the parts cleaner too. All right, this bolt will be coming back out for crank pulley installation, but we'll just throw it in for now. We're gonna have to rotate this engine over. And next, I'm gonna start cleaning this block surface. Evan should be here soon. All right, I've been dreading this part, but it's time to get started. I'm gonna use this wire brush on the die grinder. Hopefully get a little bit more RPM with it. And start from the back, work my way to the front. I'm gonna keep the ATF in the cylinders to catch any debris. I'm gonna use the razor blade and try to get some of this big stuff. Well, after about an hour on the die grinder with the bristle brush, with the wire brush, we're looking pretty dang good. There's one spot there I need to get. Other than that though, it worked great. We do have some pitting on the block, but nothing we can do about that. Just gotta hope the gasket will do its job. Can't put silicone on a head gasket. That's a big no-no. So let's hit that one little spot in the back. Maybe a little bit right there at the bottom. Top and bottom, number 8. Evan made it. Brought me 3/8 torque wrench, because we're probably gonna need it for some timing components since my snap-on one broke. Passenger side, dialed and cleaned up. Bear's in the shop. I'm working on razor blade scraping this driver's side, and I'm gonna let the camera charge up for a little bit. Evan's working on getting the spark plug tube seals out of the back side of the valve covers. They're super stupid. They have these little metal tabs on the bottom of this almost like windage tray, and we have to bend them or cut them out in order to knock the seals through from the top side. So he's gonna work on that. I'm gonna keep working on prepping this cylinder head, and we will get back to you guys once this side is clean and valve covers are ready to get washed. 2 hours of cleaning later, engine block mating surface for the cylinder heads, nice and clean. Wire wheeled them all really, really well. Sprayed out all the pistons. Made sure we didn't get any bristles down in there, got any fluids and any pieces of carbon cleaned out of there. Passenger side looks beautiful. Evan is knocking in valve cover seals onto the back side of the valve cover. These little guys. And then we're gonna start working on the timing. We need to get the pulley and tensioner reinstalled onto the timing cover, and then we will work on pulling the camshafts back out of the cylinder heads so we can get access to the head bolts, and we'll start getting this thing lined up, timed up, drop the cylinder heads back on. Okay, so this is good to install back into the head, and before we do that, let's grab our washers and our head bolts. Before we slap the head on, our last job will be super clean rag. We're gonna take a brand new shop rag. Actually, before we do that, we're gonna grab air compressor. Make sure there's no fluid left in any of these cylinder head bolt holes. I sprayed them out with brake cleaner, but I'm gonna give them. I gotta figure out what side goes to what. The number one thing to look for is just to make sure that there are no ports that are blocked off. But I just wanna make sure, because technically, like this one, I bet that, and see if we were to install this one like that, it would still match. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All these holes still match up, but like there's little differences, like that one right up there. Maybe installation instructions on the service manual will tell us. Okay, so we confirm pistons on passenger side say RH for right hand. Perspective is looking from driver's seat, so we have right side gasket onto the right hand side of the engine block, driver perspective. It should sit flush on past the dowel. There's that one seated. Now I just gotta get in there and seat that rear one. All right, and then the ground strap and all that stuff we can do afterwards, after we get the head on. Okay, looks pretty dang good. Good as we're gonna get. All right, I'm gonna have to climb into the truck and like get squatted, and then I'll have you pass it to me. Gotta find a comfortable spot. There we go. There we go. I got a dowel. There we go. It's on the dowels. One head on. The head better seal.
Oh, it's looking a little bit like an engine again. And these are all the new head bolts with washers. So I'm glad I checked. I had all 10 head bolts in for the passenger side, and then I looked at the instructions, and we need to oil the threads as well as underneath the head bolts. If you've ever seen short form content or videos out there where people are torquing cylinder heads and they do big crack, and then they look at the camera like, oh, it's because they don't oil any of the threads, or especially under here at the bottom of the head when it's twisting and torquing against that washer dry. So now, before I put them in, I got a little squirt bottle with some 530. We're gonna oil them all up and oil the top of the heads, and then we'll put them in. Just realized that I ordered a box of cylinder head bolts and it's only 1 cylinder head's worth. And so I still have 10 leftover washers and we don't have another box of cylinder head bolts. Dang, dude. Simple oversight. I thought a cylinder head bolt kit would cover the entire engine, and it only did one side. Now you know. What a buzzkill. Okay, 24 foot-pounds initial torque. All right, let's wipe off these head bolts because we're gonna have to paint mark them. Got some food in us. Man, I'm bummed about those head bolts, dude. That sucks. Anyways, we're gonna do 180 torques on these now that we did 24 foot-pounds. We'll work on getting the camshafts back in, and we'll just sort of button this side up, and then we gotta put this thing back out in the yard for storage again until we get more parts. All right, we're going old school because my angle torque wrench is acting up. So we're just gonna go in and do a yellow paint dot. When the yellow dot goes from top to bottom, we've done 180 degrees. We have to turn these bolts 180 degrees now. Okay, they're all in the down position. Next, we gotta put these camshaft housing plug. This has gotta go down in here like that. Looking good. Evan's getting all the cam journals wiped out, wiping off the top of the lifters, including the top journals up there. And then we're using some service manual calls for MG lube, moly graphite, engine assembly lube. Just a little dot on every single surface. Keep everything moving and grooving and lubed up for installation. Where's our dot? Our dot is there. Yeah, and we'll be able to rotate them and see that they're timed up. Okay, camshafts are in. Oh, it's there. I can rotate it and see. And I'm curious if, like, you know, putting in these bearing caps, if there's going to be any pressure pushing down onto the cams, but we'll follow the repair instructions and everything should go good. So we do not have new washers for these, but that should be okay. We're going to seal this up with silicone like it directs us to. Tells us to do seal packing. So let's pull these out. Remove any old material, apply seal packing to the front bearing cap as shown in the illustration. It doesn't show it going here from this groove, but it makes sense that we should. This one is going to be a bearing cap. This one, where does this get its oil from? All right, I was able to push this down and I got those camshafts to fully seat. I got a really nice satisfactory click out of it. So now, let's test fit this. Boom, sits on real nice. Oh yeah, she's practically there. Oh yeah. Oh dang, this piece came out with it. Is it still, I think it's still soft enough. No, I gotta redo it. All right, I'm gonna splooge this, and then before we put it on, I'm gonna run a bead across the top. That way I don't have to do a 360 while it's in my fingers. Okay, splooge that. I don't like silicone, but this job requires it. Okay, now we go here. We gotta do this while time is of the essence. It's asking for a smaller nozzle, and I tried to look around for a smaller nozzle, and I don't have it, so we're gonna let this ride. I think it'll be just fine. Right here. So, based off this, we need to run a bead. Okay, that's good enough. But that's outside, outside, outside. We got smush. Okay, wants us to put bearing caps on loose now, and it's having us put the camshaft seal in before torquing down the camshafts, which I think is crazy. Evan's putting the bearing caps on. Make sure the arrows are pointing forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s. I'll pass them to you. Good. Now we'll go back up to 16 and double check everything.
Cylinder heads torqued, camshafts are torqued. Go off here and you're gonna go upwards towards the intake and I'm gonna pull the service bolt. That's good. You don't have to go too far. Okay, now you can release. Just to take the pressure off it. So now that spring in there should be engaged. Okay, and that's it for us installing that on this side. This side is technically good. The next step would be to install cams on the left-hand side, which we're not ready for. So let's put this cam sprocket on. And this almost lines up perfect with our timing mark. I believe this gets turned to this mark to either here. I think this goes back just a C hair to this mark here, that little white mark there. And then that'll be our timing mark. So that still needs to get torqued. So let's put a piece of tape on it so we know for next time, just as a little reminder to torque me. All right, dude, let's button this thing up, put her in storage till we get some more head bolts. But decent progress. All right, that is super well protected. Whew. Parts are all put away. E46 back in the barn. Hi, brother. Wheels are back on, off the lift. 20% put together. I'm gonna call it 20%. Now we gotta push it out of the garage, put it back into storage while we wait for more parts. Hey, Sage. Hey, Bear. I can't find the parking brake. Oh, Jesus, that was terrifying. I was swinging my foot, dude, and kept missing right.
You good with that?
Yeah.
All right.
It ain't pretty, but it works. Welcome back to the program. Last time we left off, we had just finished installing the passenger side cylinder head and we realized we ran out of cylinder head bolts. So pushed the truck out. Since then, I got a new shipment from Rock Auto. I got some Molle cylinder head bolts. I also got the 2 knock sensors for the Valley. And last night, I installed the driver side cylinder head, camshafts, and got that all dialed in. And then this morning, I got the timing belt roughly mocked up. Now, I did get some bad news yesterday. My beloved Duramax diesel pickup truck got crashed into a concrete post. And so I was a little distraught. I am still a little distraught. I needed to take a little time and just take a little mental health break. So I did hop on live for about 2 hours while I was installing it and just hanging out and chopping it up with some viewers. If you do want to see the process of getting this driver's side cylinder head installed back onto the block and getting the head gasket installed, you can catch the old VOD for that live. All in all though, it was the same exact process as you guys saw for the passenger side over on driver. I do have the camshaft sprockets roughly mocked up. I also have the crankshaft pulley roughly mocked up. None of this stuff is torqued up. I did realize that last wrench session, I had the timing belt on backwards, and this is right cam, this is left cam. It's all from orientation looking from the driver's seat. So I took it all off and I flipped it over. I got it rolled over onto this driver's side cam first. And then I was able to fit it up and around the tensioner pulley and slide it up onto the right side cam. So next step, what we're gonna do is we're gonna install our brand new belt tensioner right down here, and we're going to pull the pin on that and start getting some tension onto this timing belt. And then we're gonna rotate the engine over and make sure that we have our timing mark here at 0 on the crank pulley and make sure that our timing marks fall back to where they need to be on both cylinder heads. And we're gonna do that a couple times and just make sure that the timing is all bitchin' and perfect before we continue with anything else and before we continue with the torque specs for the cam sprockets and the crank. Now this timing belt tensioner is hydraulic, and once we pull this little hand grenade pin, it's going to release the pressure on this timing belt tensioner. Then it's going to push up and tension our tensioner pulley for the timing belt. It's 19 foot-pounds for the 2 tensioner bolts. All right, now we pull the pin for the hydraulic tensioner. And that tensioner should release and it should apply nice even pressure on the belt. I could hear it click a little bit. All right, this next step is huge. 22mm socket on the crank pulley. We're gonna rotate this thing around 2 revolutions and make sure all our timing marks come back to where they need to be. There's 1. And for every 1 rotation of the crankshaft, we have a half rotation for the camshafts. And there's 2. We have our mark on our crank pulley directly at 0, and we have our timing mark on bank 1 perfectly at the timing mark. And then over here, we have our timing mark perfectly at the timing mark. And again, we're at 0 on the crank pulley, we're timed on bank 1, and we're timed on bank 2. Boom.
TDC cylinder number 1, timed on bank 1, timed on bank 2. Love to see it. We have the service bolt removed on bank 1 camshafts. We have service bolt removed on bank 2 camshafts. I made an oopsie. We're gonna have to take the tensioner and the timing belt back out because there are pieces that need to go behind these cam sprockets, and I didn't see it in the repair instructions. It doesn't say anything about it, but these pieces need to go back in underneath the cam sprockets. Passenger behind cam sprocket, driver behind cam sprocket. This is L for left hand. This is R for right hand. So let's pull the tensioner, and then we're going to have to pull the timing belt, pull the cam sprockets, reinstall those, put the cam sprockets back on, and try again. Sadly, I'm not gonna be able to confidently just sneak these out and then put the cam sprocket right back on where it went. I'm gonna have to pull the lower timing cover, pull the crank pulley temporarily. I didn't torque it up yet. And then put the markings back on left cam and right cam and redo it all again. That way I just have peace of mind. I just don't understand why repair instructions didn't include this process for reassembly. I'm gonna rip some music real quick until we get all this put back together. I'll see you in a minute. All right, both pieces are installed behind the cam sprockets. Cam sprockets are loosely on and in place, still lined up with the timing marks. I just took the belt back off and remarked my CR mark with the crankshaft. Now I'm gonna start routing this belt. The way I did it before was I grabbed the belt, tensioned it, got it pulled over. That lines up with my left cam mark. And then come down here under the water pump to there, back up and over. And I should be able to just barely get it on, lined up onto bank 2 cam. It's tight, but it'll go. This is how I installed it last time. So now you guys get to see the belt installation. Okay, and that is crankshaft, idler, bank 1 cam sprocket, bank 2 cam sprocket, arrows lined up, timing marks lined up, cam sprockets are on the teeth, looking good. Another thing I want to check is just to make sure those 2 single dots are lined up against each other, which they are. That looks perfect. And I just want to make sure those camshafts are timed up against each other. I was able to depress the tensioner back in using my bench vise, and I got the pin back in it, just to make installation a little bit easier. So now, tensioner can go in. All right, tensioner's back in, torqued up, pull the pin. I can see tensioner making contact. We're good there. Let's rotate her over. We're at 0, time. TDC cylinder 1 on crank, timed. All right, I might have to call my brother over for this one. I gotta torque the crank bolt now, and it needs 245 Newton meters. What I'm gonna do is I found a spare belt, and I cut a piece of it, and I'm gonna wrap it over the ribs here, and I'm gonna tape it. And then I'm gonna use this chain wrench and get a purchase point on it and use that to apply opposite force. I might even be able to tuck the chain wrench like down underneath that frame rail on passenger side. So first let's get this belt installed. I'd really like to keep going on this thing though, and I don't want to have to wait for him to come over and help me. So let's see if I can do it one person, and if not, I'll find some other stuff to work on, and I'll wait until he can come over later. This old belt is to protect the teeth of my chain wrench from digging into the pulley, so I don't have to smoke the crank pulley and have to replace it. I know this will work. I just need to get a good little bite with some tape to hold it in place. Crank pulleys are usually a 2-person job. That'll hold. Okay, so we're gonna be twisting it clockwise. We got 245, and now my chain wrench is stuck. My buddy Ryan Rafkin bought one of these, and he keeps it underneath the seat of his truck. This thing is just a straight deadly weapon, dude. This thing would be a sick weapon. Whoopah! What I don't understand is prior to torquing that crank bolt, it wanted me to install the drive belt tensioner and the alternator, and that just didn't make sense to me. So let's rotate the engine back over to TDC just so it looks pretty, and then I'll see about getting this installed and figuring out where the heck it goes, and we'll keep chugging along. I think it goes like, yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. But I feel like we should put the timing covers on before that, don't you think? Like, wouldn't it go on top of the timing covers? We also need to torque these cam sprockets. So let's do that before we forget. It's all timed up. Now the timing pulleys are only 108 Newton meters. I don't have the special tool to lock into there. So I'm just gonna try to apply opposite force with the wrench on the camshaft. TDC on crank, timing mark on bank 1, timing mark on bank 2. That's where it goes. Been so long since I took this thing apart, you know? That's why they want me to put it on, because it's basically a piece of the timing cover. Okay. It's one of the hardware for the water pump. Good thing we put a bunch of RTV on there. That goes on like that. I got my belt tensioner hardware. I got my turbinator. I got power plug. I believe this is going to slide onto here, like so. Okay. Progress, baby. Progress. It's crazy that this thing goes on before the timing covers, but it does. Got to figure out where this chingus goes. How does this thing go on there? There we go. Goes on there like that. Okay, now we install this little timing cover. It's got a little hook. It needs to go behind the fan clutch component and another little hook there. That falls in nicely. Okay, now I think we do passenger timing cover. All right, passenger timing cover hardware. I'm definitely gonna have to look up a vacuum diagram for this intake manifold because I do not remember where all these little vacuum lines go. This truck's been apart for like 8 weeks. Not ideal, but we'll make it work. All right, time for installation of the driver's side timing cover. And I know where this guy goes now because he goes through this hole. Then we take this wire and pull it nice and tight. Put this grommet back over the harness and then tuck this grommet back into the timing cover. Boom, cam sensor's back in business. Bet it's gonna go up in that clip and that is bitchin'. It's starting to look like an engine. Boy, I want this truck done. Next, it says to install the oil cooler pipe, but I need to install this entire front crossover, and I think it's time for us to do that because I left the oil cooler pipe still installed. I believe the intake manifold goes over this, so we should be okay. Won't be the end of the world if I have to take it back off, but I am going to use some right stuff because this piece here didn't have a gasket. I did order a bunch of these gaskets, so hopefully I can find one that fits, but we still need to clean this thing up, clean up these surfaces here. Oil cooler pipe is ready to go, and I know why I didn't have that nut because I took it off and left it with this front crossover pipe. I know the nut's gonna be there in that bag, so I'm gonna look ahead and see what it says about that coolant crossover pipe and see if that needs to come before the intake manifold, which I think it does. I think I got the gaskets for these. I attempted to order the gasket for this. I'm not sure if it was the right one though, so I got some safety glasses on. Let's use the wire wheel. And let's polish up these surfaces. I also need to crack this open, put a new T-stat in it. While we're here and we got good access, let's put a new thermostat in this thing. Uh-oh, that's spinning inside there. I think we might as well take it off and reseal it now. Well, let's take this thing out. Okay, that's out. I think I have an O-ring for it. So that's separate now. Wow, it's so much easier to clean this thing with that removed. Okay. T-stat and gasket. And the T-stat bleed hole went up top. Got the thermostat and the new seal lubed up. Fits in perfect. Okay. Coolant crossover pipe is dialed in. This guy, now we just need to focus on this part. I need to make sure I have this O-ring, and I do. Luckily, it came with all of my parts. So I got that O-ring there. Most of the time on this job is just prep and cleaning. I think we'll install this thermostat first, and then the coolant crossover pipe can be installed afterwards. I'm gonna double check that, but I got this O-ring lubed up with Seal Glide and it's looking perfect. I also gotta clean out the receiving end of this O-ring. Dude, I have one of those, it stabbed me in my forehead. Oh. Let's do crossover pipe first. Now originally it was installed with RTV, but I did order a gasket for it, so I'm actually gonna double it up. I'm gonna put this gasket on the flat surface, And I'm also going to use a small bead of RTV because this has a packing strip for it. And it's just gonna give me a little extra reassurance. I normally don't double up, but this time I'm going to. I also just installed some of these multi-layer steel gaskets that came with the cylinder head kit. I also ordered a bunch of extras because I just didn't know if I'd have enough for front and rear. So let's start with the coolant crossover pipe and go from there. This thing is super mint and clean. Fall right down onto place. I got my hardware for the front coolant crossover. Feeling really confident about those. Now there is a small little bolt down there on the fan clutch assembly that snapped off when I was removing it. I'm gonna attempt to drill it out and use an extractor. I got my extractor here and it uses a 1/8 inch drill bit. So I'm gonna see if I can sneak my drill down here. I already hit it with the center punch. See if I can't drill this out. Some metal shavings fell down towards that crank sensor connector. I wanna make sure nothing got in there. I think I drilled it out enough to get a bite. This is just a little holder screw for the oil hose, or the coolant hose down to the oil cooler. Come on, you don't wanna go? All right, she didn't wanna go the first time. I really don't wanna break this extractor off in there, so I'm gonna try one more time. I think the last person just over torqued it a little bit. Come on, little buddy. I just really don't wanna break this extractor. I'm gonna go up one size, see if I can just get a bite right on the tip. Nope. What it's doing is it's just expanding and it wants to break that fan clutch. So we're just gonna let it ride. It'll be just fine. We'll check clearance on the coolant hose going down here once we're done. Before we do that, let me show you. There's an oil pressure sensor right down here under the crank, and there's an updated part number because the original ones don't read very well. So before we continue, let's pop that out and throw in a new oil pressure sender. I'll be a happy boy if I can get this thing to fire up today. I might. I'm gonna go all day on this thing. Mom's coming into town on Friday, and I would love to have one of my vehicles back. I don't wanna go too tight because I think this thing is pipe thread. Pretty happy with that. We'll keep a close eye on it when we run the truck. Oh, forgot to press record, but I put a little layer of black RTV down on this thermostat and crossover assembly. Let's get it installed. Got a gasket, and that's not gonna stay in place. So we'll just gently lay it down on the back of this RTV. O-ring first. All right, this thing's starting to look like a car again. Now let's move this hose out of the way, pull this 10mm nut off that I thought was missing, but it wasn't. Drop that bracket back on, replace it with the original nut. It's a little hard for you guys to see, but I'm gonna go back down and just pop that cooler line back onto the oil cooler, at least the oil filter housing assembly. Hose clamp pliers, hose clamp. All right, with the exception of that one broken bolt, it's gonna clear that crank pulley just fine. There's loads of room. So we're looking pretty dang good. This thing's going back together. Now before I forget, I got two while we're in there type repairs to do. I'm gonna replace these knock sensors just because they're buried under the intake manifold. A lot of you guys recommended that I should. And since I had to order up those cylinder head bolts, I ordered some knock sensors. Boy, that connector is sticky. We're gonna have to pick that thing off. Holy cow, that entire knock sensor connector broke off. It's a good thing we're doing them. Wow, good call, guys. That was a recommendation from the viewers. I was on live and they're like, hey, do those knock sensors. And I'm like, I don't have the parts and I wanna keep going. They said, do the knock sensors. I said, all right, fine, I'll do the knock sensors since I gotta order parts. Glad that I did, because that would have failed. I know you guys have been probably thinking it this whole video and yelling at the camera, Alec, cover up the camshafts. I should have. I'm going to right now. Cover up the camshafts and the intake ports. I am staying very clean though, but you are right. I should cover the camshafts and the intake ports. Ah, got it. Stupid little connector. 27 mil for the knock sensors. This thing just snapped clean off. This one's still fine. Now the tab did break on that connector, so I gotta hope and pray that connector doesn't back out. I don't know any other solution. I don't have any purchase points to zip tie it. All right, with that broken connector, I had to get creative, but I wrapped a zip tie
around the knock sensor, and then another zip tie through the connector down underneath that zip tie, and I got a really, really tight fit. I also donated some blood to the car as a sacrifice, so I don't think that thing is going anywhere, and it is super solid. All right, dogs. Before I get too far ahead, there's a couple ground straps and this tranny dipstick that I need to get mounted up on the cylinder heads. So let's knock that out. You suck, dude. Okay, that one's in. While we do valve covers, before we get too crazy with all these harnesses, there is a ground strap. All right, ground strap is snugged and dialed back there. Before we go too far forward, let's do this rear crossover pipe and get that done. Luckily, the cylinder head looks bitchin' and clean, so just slap some gaskets down. And I think we gotta do it before we put the intake on. I'll tell you what, the bags of parts, they're getting smaller. They're getting smaller. Nice. Let's get these engine hooks installed. I just had some lunch/dinner delivered, so it's time to charge up the camera, charge up the body. We're gonna get back to it. We're gonna crank away on this thing tonight. I still got like another 5 hours in me. We're back, we're fed. Let's make some progress. I think power steering pump next. Ah, there's the bracket we need to install. That's why it doesn't make sense. Power steering pump is back. What's crazy is this power steering pump has vacuum lines on it. Okay, and then we got an idler pulley to install as well. I'm going to assume this is where the idler pulley goes. Okay, I gotta go work on this AC compressor next. This thing was a pain. It was a huge pain. There's this silly little bracket and a bolt and a nut that I took off for the AC compressor/oil cooler. So I'm gonna go crawl down there and figure out how this goes. Compressor's done. There's this AC compressor bracket. Okay, there's our AC compressor bracket. And this big hog plugs back in on there. I'm gonna do the belt first before I put that harness on. And let's do some valve covers. All right, let's do driver's side first because it's gonna be more difficult. Let's do the difficult side first. I also put a bunch of Seal Glide on all these spark plug tube seals, and I also lubed them up on the block as well. Good enough. They'll seal up as the valve cover goes down. I got my driver's side valve cover hardware here. We need to pull off all these old grommets. Oh, this is gonna suck. All right. 6 Newton meters for valve cover bolts. All right, I think I gotta secure up this rear harness and then the intake manifold can go on. I do need to put this ground strap back. That goes right back there on the back of the cylinder head, and then there should be another ground right there. Yeah, and that one goes right there. All right, let's put those in next. Bank 2, harness ground. What do you go to here? You big plug. There's really nothing for it to plug to back there. Not yet. I'll find it. I just don't know where. Bank 1, driver's side, harness ground. All right, we're running out of parts. Fan pulley, throttle body, ignition coils, radiator, exhaust flange, intake. We're gonna do the intake next. I scrubbed the backside of the manifold with the brass brush, hit it with some brake cleaner and a rag. Let's go prep that gasket. That looks good. I'm happy with that. This manifold's gonna be heavy. Whoa! Well, she fell in. That works. Where the heck does that plug go? Luckily, it's still accessible. Maybe it goes to oxygen sensor. Let's check the O2 sensors. Looks kind of like an O2 sensor. Mystery solved. Bank 2 O2 sensor. Now, magnetic sockets are incredibly helpful for intake manifolds so you don't drop the nuts or bolts down. I don't have a 12, but I do have a 13, and that will work. There's 6 bolts and 4 nuts, so I'm just gonna put these bolts in first. All right, we got them all started by hand. Now,
Wobble 12mm 1/4" socket. Long 1/4" extension. Intake manifold is installed and tight. Now we need to start making sense of these fuel lines off of the intake manifold here. We need to install our main fuel feed, and that comes right down here, and then we'll have to route our harness underneath it. But this thing was a pain to take off. I don't know why it fought me so much on the removal. It's not like it's cross-threaded, but I'm gonna lube up the threads with a touch of Silk Glide just in case. Okay, we got it started. Let's get out of the way. We can get this brake booster hose on. These are hose clamp pliers, so they have a notch cut there, and sideways. Pretty nice. Great for Mini Coopers because they got these pressure clamps on all their cooling system parts. All right, there, fuel line, vacuum line to pressure regulator, I think. No, that's vacuum line to pressure regulator. We'll make sense of all this rat's nest eventually. Start getting this harness situated. You clip in there. Fuel injector. It's coming together, guys, slowly but surely. I hope you've been enjoying this video. I know it's not my usual explain all the information to you as I go. You know, this vehicle's been a grind. It hasn't been easy, and I'm not knowledgeable on it. I'm learning, but at least you guys get to see someone do a Toyota V8 head gasket for the first time, and I hope that there'll be some good knowledge to be gained from it. I mean, I sure learned a lot. We ain't done yet though, so. That's gotta be crank sensor. This is gonna be oil pressure. Let me go down there and do crank. Okay, driver's side harness is almost completely buttoned. This plug here and these two plugs, but I believe they go to probably mass airflow and throttle body maybe. Let's go do passenger. I'm feeling quite confident on this reassembly. I feel like so far I've done everything right. Okay, ignition coil. Before we get too far with the harness and everything, let's get this serpentine belt on there because the harness is all routed and dialed in now, and so we can make sure that everything clears the belt. Got a brand new Continental belt. You know we love Continental, and we also have belt routing diagram right there. Gotta love it when they provide the diagram. We're just gonna have to loosely put on the fan clutch pulley because actually what I'll do is I'm just gonna put one nut on there and we'll just leave that nut on for the installation, and then the belt will hold it in place. Okay, and then just wrap that. It's a little wobbly. It's so deep that, you know, the power steering bolts to it. I gotta let it ride. Maybe we'll have to go in and redo it, but there's play. There's play in that pulley. We'll see. Check all the pulleys. Okay, start making sense of this throttle body. Yeah, that's where those bolts go. This bolt's on there. I gotta clean that throttle body. This throttle body is actually cooled via coolant. Still don't know where this one goes. It feels good though. And that throttle cable runs over, and this bracket goes there. Throttle body hardware. We're getting somewhere. 4 nuts and 2 bolts. Okay, so there's this hard line, this bolt here. I don't know where you go. I don't know what goes under you. And this throttle cable. I think maybe this cable goes, I think you go here. This hose needs to come off and this cable needs to flop. Yep, gotta be. You go there. All right, and then there's this plug, and I think this is mass airflow. Just leave that there. I think this is the piece that goes in the back there. Something like that. And then this clips in with this guy. I don't know if you clip in there, but we'll leave you there for now. Quite positive these go here. I got this chingus. I don't know where you go. I'll have to look that one up. I think I'll be able to do the fan and everything else with this end. So let's put this intake hose on, and this will help me
make sense of the rest of this. We got our big boy here. We got our medium boy. Got this little one. And what's weird is we have vacuum lines off of power steering. I feel like you're gonna go up there. This little one gonna go there. That thing has to stretch out pretty far. This goes here, and that goes mass airflow. You could go up there, but that's just a real stretch. I'll look up vacuum diagram. I haven't missed a single bolt this entire job yet, and I'm like, man, where does this purge valve go? But you know what? It shares a bolt with the throttle cable. And this has markings of a bolt on top. That looks pretty mint. I got it. Hose, evap service port, check valve to purge valve. I'm not sure if the throttle cable runs over this though or not. You plug in there, and then you purge over here to the intake. Now I got this guy, which should be you, and I think you go here, and this is PCV, and you take your little exhaust gases and put them back into the intake over here. I shouldn't say exhaust gases, I should say valve cover gases. We're doing it. We're getting closer. Still confused about this throttle cable, and then we have one open port back here. It's gotta be this power steering hose. That fits pretty good there when it's routed that way. All right, last vacuum connector. This guy goes on here. Surprisingly enough, this power steering pump receives vacuum, which is so strange, but it does. Okay, let's smoke this thing, see if we have any vacuum leaks. Didn't think about that, but I don't have spark plugs in there, so smoke goes from intake hose to intake, and the intake valve is open, causing it to get into the combustion chamber and out through the spark plug hole. Silly me. So we'll do compression test, and then I will smoke test it again. Man, I really hope this tensioner is gonna be okay. All right, I looked at some photos of the throttle body routing, just some engine bay photos. Looks like I got it correct. Looks like I got it correct. There's a few vacuum hose connections that are just a little loose and splitting. I'm gonna throw zip ties on them. What do you say we put the radiator back in this thing, start buttoning up this cooling system, cooling fan, put the exhausts up, install the oxygen sensors, compression test, spark plugs, ignition coils, pull the fuel pump relay, fire this sucker up. What's up, Sage? Hi, come here. Hi. I'm gonna cuddle you so hard tonight. We're almost done. We're making some good progress though. Daddy's gonna be a lot less stressed when we're done with this one. Yes. Oh, we're bleeding. I think we do fan, shroud, and then hoses. Imagine how good you're gonna sleep when you get this job done. You're gonna sleep like a little baby. Why have you stopped tightening? Did you literally just like blow out? Yeah, the threads on the nut wiped. Stupid. I'm gonna try to put another nut on there. That's just silly. The only problem nut we've had this entire job, and it's literally one of the last ones I'm installing. But hey, that's automotive repair. I didn't even cross thread it, it was just tired. It's been put on and taken off so many times. I need to pull another one off to use it as a reference. Dude, they're all tired. Oh my goodness. All right, I took off the bottom piece of the shroud. Let's do an experiment. Let's see if the fan shroud can come out with the cooling fan still in. Because I don't want to have to go back in and fix this. I'm already gonna have to go back in probably and do that tensioner. Gonna have to get it warrantied. All right, that's how you're supposed to do it. You gotta do it all right. We're here. Gotta do everything right. We'll pull it off, we'll tap it, we'll find new hardware for the fan. I think the studs are okay, it's just the nuts. Well, after some of the most frustrating moments on this entire truck, I pulled the fan out, pulled the shroud out, tapped all 4 studs off of the fan clutch bearing, grabbed 4 new nuts, got it all reassembled. We're back to where we were. Everything was going wrong. Everything. Every single tool was dropping. Every single nut was dropping. The magnet came out of my pocket screwdriver. The die wouldn't go on the studs. Everything went wrong. But we just gotta laugh it off. Laugh it off and keep on keeping on. Radiator? Let's do radiator. I don't know where that radiator hose clamp is. Be nice to have. I got one of them. Grandma just called to catch up. Talk to me about the truck and stuff. That is my favorite person in the entire world. She is just absolutely one of my favorite people. Sally, best grandma I could ever possibly ask for. If your grandparents are still alive, give them a call. Send them a text message. Tell them that you love them and catch up with them. Because, I just love her so much. While I was chatting with her, I put the lower radiator hose on, upper radiator hose. I also snugged up both of the trans-cooler lines to the bottom of the radiator. Let's throw some coolant in this thing. And let's get it bleeding, and then let's do a little pressure test. We got some ice and coolant premix 50-50. Boy, she's thirsty. We got a leak. We got a leak. I forgot to attach a hose. It's that little cooler hose. Forgot to connect. At least it's water. All the pink stuff's still on the bottom. Oh, how do I shift you forward, dude? There we go. Oh my goodness, the hose clamp was stuck. Gotta laugh them off, man. Just gotta laugh it off. It hasn't been an easy day of wrenching, but we're making progress little by little. Hose is connected. Put that throttle body back in. Okay, where were we? Putting water in the cooling system. I tell you what though, it definitely helped burp the air bubbles out. It's never good to hear trickle as you're filling a cooling system. Man, this thing is so thirsty. All right, crisis averted. Water's all the way up to the top of the cap. Next, O2 sensors, exhaust flange, drain plug, oil filter. I'm just gonna knock them out real fast because this video is gonna be 5 hours long and it's gonna be way too long. So I'm just gonna make some progress real quick. And then we're gonna compression test this thing, okay? Okay? Dudes, exhaust flanges, tight, oxygen sensors, installed, oil filter, installed, drain plug, installed, exhaust clamp thingy that joins the two pieces of exhaust, installed. It's a really good thing that I pulled the drain plug again because there was a bunch of garbage, maybe water that had gotten down into the block while it was raining outside. Good thing we did that. Let's put some oil in this thing and compression test it. I've literally been going for like 10 hours today. I like my German vehicles, so I bought some Liquimoly. Special Tech, SAE 530, Asia and America. Made in Germany. It's getting to that point to where like I'm starting to feel like I'm buzzed even though I haven't had anything to drink because I've just been going. I also need to look up what the oil capacity is. I got 7 quarts, I think. Internet says 6.6. Let's do 6.6. Oil is in. Fuel pump relay, pulled. Oh, you know what? It's still in neutral. Let's wait to do the battery. Let's put the airbox in it. I just want all this so I can have the MAF plugged in. But it doesn't matter, I'm gonna be clearing codes anyways. MAF plugged in. Let's reconnect this battery. She's alive. Should have plenty of battery because we had ground disconnected the whole time. I'm thinking we'll crank it over because we got the fuel pump disconnected. Let's just crank it over, get the oil circulating, and then we'll plug in and do compression test. What do you guys think? Think that's a good plan? I think that's a good plan. 271,000 miles. Back in park. Ready to crank it? Crank it. Sounds like no compression, but we got all the plugs out. And those cylinders are all washed out. Let's do a little bit longer. Yeah, we're getting oil pressure. Don't want to burn out the starter. All right, we got oil pressure, so I'm happy with that. That's what I'm looking for, some oil pressure. And we pulled fuel pump relay, so we shouldn't be getting any fuel to the cylinders. Next, we're gonna do a compression test. Since bank 2 was our blown head, let's check it. Before I do this, just to make sure, I don't know if those cylinders are washed out or not, so I'm just gonna throw a little shot of motor oil down there.
let it get down into the spark plug hole just to lubricate those cylinder walls so they're not running dry, and just to give ourselves a little bit of compression. It'll also help the engine start after we're done with the compression test. We'll do 8 revolutions. Wish me luck. Oh yeah, over 200. That's because we got that oil in there. So 4 and 6 were our problem children. And we're gonna have exaggerated compression numbers because of the oil I put in there, but I just don't want this thing rotating dry. Let's see what we got on 4 and 6. I went a touch shorter, but we're well over 200. 220, 230. We're chilling. Because even with oil in the cylinders, when I tested it, it was low because it was leaking through the head gasket, not through the piston rings. Let's put this thing back together. I'm putting these spark plugs in by hand, and I'm torquing them down because these dang Toyotas, dude, they back spark plugs out. It's insane. You guys might want to see compression numbers on bank 1, but I want to fire this thing up. I have been working my butt off the last 3 days putting this thing back together. And I know that the job was done right. I know that head gasket is sealed. I know the machine shop did a bitchin' job. I know it's gonna run great. Let's go. Oh my goodness, I forgot to record. We're done with this side, guys. Fuel pump relays back in. I think we get to fire it up. Are you ready? It's one of those weird things where like I'm so excited to fire this thing up, but at the same time I'm like, did I forget anything? It's got oil, it's got coolant. I haven't pressure tested it yet, but let's just freaking run it. I can pressure test it afterwards. I just want to hear this thing run. Maybe let's clear faults. I have no idea what's stored in there from having literally everything unplugged. I don't want it to affect how this car will run, put it into limp mode or anything. So if I remember correctly, this thing had misfires on 4 and 6, which were our problem cylinders. And that was exactly where we had combustion gas, exhaust gas, getting into that there cooling system. Lots of faults, igniter faults. Let's erase all those. Erase done, no faults found. Let's go. All right, you guys ready? Boy, I'm nervous. I put the radiator cap on. You guys ready? This is a big moment. We had cylinder heads off, timing belt, valve covers, intake manifold, exhaust manifolds, spark plugs, ignition coils, water pump, every single plug to the entire harness, cam sensor, crank sensor, knock sensor, starter, everything. Cross your fingers with me. We got the garage door open. Let's see if this pig will fire up. She is strong, dude. She's running strong. She sounds super healthy. Let's go give the engine a listen. A little smoky from that oil, but that ain't no thing. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Forgot a coolant line. Oh, shoot. That's not coolant. That's return gasoline. I may or may not have just filled my entire floor with gasoline, but I got an extinguisher, so if this thing sparks up, we're ready to go. I don't think there's a pin to be pulled on this thing. It says it's got charge. Ooh, that's dangerous. Where does that fuel line go to? It's this one right here. Yeah, that's the one. That's return. I was like, oh, we forgot a coolant hose. No, that's gasoline, brother. It's okay. Hopefully, nothing catches on fire. Tell you what, she's running good though. Maybe I shouldn't be in this engine bay while it's saturated with gasoline. The hose is connected. I just got to finish that hose clamp. We had a lot of stuff apart, you know? It's easy to forget something little like that. All in all though, it didn't squirt that much gas. Like, we're good to fire this thing back up again. I'll just evaporate it out. Thought I had some beers to celebrate, but all I got is a Sprite. So we're going caffeine-free, non-alcoholic. Let's fire this thing up again. Oh, yeah. Oil pressure climbs right up too. RPMs are super buttery. I think the exhaust will be fine. I don't think it's a head gasket issue. It's smoky in here though. I can barely freaking see. Hey, Smokey! Where am I? Between the oil that I put down in the cylinders and everything else, I think this thing's just gonna be smoky for a little bit, but we'll let her keep running, and it doesn't smell like super sweet like coolant. You know, it smelled like funky burning oil, and
you know, there's all types of stuff that got down in those cylinders, so we're just gonna let it cook off for a little bit. I'm sure it'll be fine. Well, gang, I've been letting her idle while I've cleaned up my tools. It's getting far less smoky. It's got this weird synthetic, it smells like if you were to burn trash in a campfire. It smells a little plasticky. So I know that's gonna cook off. You know, we did valve seals. There might still be some junk in the cylinder heads from when they washed them and all that good stuff. The engine's idling really nice. And the main thing is, the hoses are nice and soft. It's too much pressure to check the coolant right now, just because the coolant's starting to expand. Truck's getting up to operating temperature, but let's give the exhaust a listen. Let me mic you guys up to the exhaust. She sounds pretty bitchin'. Engine's idling really good. It's super smooth. I'm not seeing any leaks. I'm gonna pressure test the cooling system tomorrow morning. It's been a 12-hour day in the shop for me today. And so I'm a little tuckered. It's time for me to go eat some leftover bean dip and take a shower, cuddle with Sage, watch a little bit of TV and get to bed. There is one thing I noticed. Let me show you. We're gonna have to go back in and replace that drive belt tensioner. See that pulley on there is walking side to side. And I can't have that. So sadly, we got to go back in, and that's behind the power steering pump. So fan's gonna have to come out, power steering pump. Hopefully we won't have to take off too much, but we do have to replace that drive belt tensioner. All in all, today was an ass kicker, but it was a smashing success. So thanks for coming along for the ride. I hope you've been enjoying this video. We're not done yet. We still got to put some finishing touches on it, and we got to deliver it to my brother Evan. So stay tuned. I'll see you in the morning. Good morning, y'all. I woke up with a splitting headache today. I think I ate too much exhaust gas last night, letting this thing run in the garage. I had the garage doors open, but that side exit exhaust was just filling this whole place with smoke, and it smelled a little funky, and I think I just gave myself a headache from that. But I got to get back to work. Just a little bit of pressure in the cooling system, but I think it's okay. Definitely not like what we were experiencing last time. So what I want to start with today is topping off the cooling system, pressure testing all that, making sure we don't have any leaks. I'm also going to pull the airbox. Let's throw some smoke into the intake, make sure we don't have any vacuum leaks, and then put on skid plate, put the wheels and tires on, and hopefully take this thing for a drive. I really, really hope this cooling system is tight. Now, I will continue to preach this to the day I die. If you're doing a cooling system diagnosis or repair, you have to pressure test the cooling system when you're done with your repairs. One, you should pressure test it to find the source of the leak. Then you replace that source. Then you put pressure in the system to make sure that that leak is fixed. It's the only true way to know that your cooling system is tight. 16 PSI, not hearing anything yet, so great news. I'm just gonna let that marinate at 16. Next, let's pull this airbox lid out of here and get access to the intake hose. If all goes well, we can give this truck back to my brother today. Now, I attempted to smoke this thing yesterday, but I didn't have the spark plugs in it. So of course, we're gonna have smoke leaking out of the combustion chamber on whatever cylinders the intake valves are open on. So let's try this again, and this time we have all of the spark plugs installed. Now, the great thing about doing this smoke test is we're gonna see if we connected all of these vacuum lines back to their spots. This truck has a surprising amount of vacuum lines. There. That's a vacuum leak right there. Pressure test is holding great. Very happy to see that. It's coming from this fitting right here with these two Phillips. You should be able to find it with some soapy water. No, it's intake boot. I was able to get bubbles on the backside of here, so this hose clamp was also super sticky. So let's hit it with some lube. Let's back it off. Oh, I see why. This intake boot got folded on the backside. I think that's part of our problem. That's probably our issue. Without a smoke machine, we would have never known this. Cooling system is also holding beautifully at 16 PSI. So now let's get some serious pressure. And while we're doing that, let's clean up a new location for our new timing belt sticker. You guys might not think that that intake hose was a big deal, but that's behind the mass airflow sensor. Eventually, it's gonna cause a rough idle. It's gonna throw a check engine light for system 2 lean on bank 1 and probably bank 2. And so it would have severely reduced the performance of this truck. It wouldn't have idled nearly as clean, and it would have ran a little rough eventually. This cooling system is dialed. It has not moved a single touch. I am super confident with it. Engine oil is perfect. All right, I am super confident with the smoke test. We would have seen leaks. I do need to rotate this hose. With that vacuum leak fixed at the intake hose, this truck's gonna be running even better than yesterday. Okay, I don't wanna run it for too long because my head still hurts, but
Let's fire this thing up. It's got to check engine light because I turned on ignition to get the mileage while the MAF was unplugged, so I got to fix that. Light was on for P0100 and P0110, which was mass airflow and intake air temp sensor, which should both be done by the mass airflow sensor. So let's fire it up. Boy, she's running really good, and that oil pressure is nice and high. Love to see it. All that smoke and garbage from the exhaust really cleaned up too, so we're in good shape. To get this thing to fit with the garage door shut, I had to put the hydraulic unit in the truck bed. Let's put this thing up, put on the skid plate, wheels and tires. We got a missing push pin on this side, and on the other side we have to reinstall it. Luckily, I have a box of push pins. Now I did mark the position of all these tires, so I'm a big believer in putting them back where they came from.
I can't reach it, so I have to use the stick.
Can't believe we're road testing this thing today. Definitely faced some challenges with this one, but I think we're almost there. Holy cow, guys, we did it. That was a grind. You know, I was pretty scared and hesitant to put this thing back together. I get nervous when a car or truck sits apart for 6 weeks. You start to forget what came off in what order, but I'm feeling real confident with the way we put this thing together, how we troubleshot the issues, and hopefully I never have to go back into this truck again, but if I do, I know how to do it. I can do a timing belt, I can do cylinder heads, I can do valve covers, I can do intake, I can do exhaust, I can do it all. So get to add some tools to the toolbox. I'm gonna back it out so the tailpipe's out of the garage. All in all, we're in really good shape. The only thing we have to do in the future is that drive belt tensioner, but just gonna let this thing get up to operating temperature and just monitor it. It's running incredibly smooth. We'll give it a little bit of throttle and then we'll take it on a test drive. Well, gang, this thing has gotten up to operating temperature. The hoses they're softer than they were when we first had that head gasket issue. They're not ballooning out, which is good. This thing is running like an absolute top. Let me rev it up for you a little bit. Also, one thing I noticed is when I would rev it up, the idle would hang out at like 1,000. Once we fix that vacuum leak, it's dropping down to 750, 800. Battery voltage looks okay. Oil pressure looks pretty good. Coolant temp looks good. Let's check RPMs. It's dropping really nice now. All right, let's throw the puppy in the back. Let's take this thing on a test drive. Come here, Sage. Clean up those paws. Good girl. Let me see the back ones. Good girl. Okay, load up. Not gonna lie, I am just terrified of having to go back into this truck again. I'm terrified, but I'm confident. Under load, it feels really good. Oh, if my head didn't hurt so bad, I'd be a lot more excited, but we fixed it, guys. I really think we fixed it. Feels really strong, feels really good. Oh, I poisoned myself. It's been 10 miles. I'm gonna pop over and just check to see how tight those radiator hoses are and then head back up north. Hi, puppy. Hoses feel okay. They feel just as they did before we left. Not nearly as stiff as they were when combustion gases was getting into them. Nothing spilling out of the radiator cap. We're looking good. "22 miles on this road test. Everything is driving great. No check engine lights. Oil pressure's looking beautiful. Temperatures hanging out halfway. Charging voltage is great. RPMs and power band feel smooth and buttery." Let's bring this thing into the garage. Look it over with a flashlight. Let it sit and cool down. Evan will be back over to my shop later today to probably pick it up. Let's look this thing over. We got smoking hot coolant hoses, but they're a lot squishier than they were when this thing was getting combustion gases. So I think we have an appropriate amount of stiffness there. It's a lot softer than it was. Valve covers are looking good. No signs of any Oil leaks down there. Everything sounds beautiful. It sounds really, really good. Still have a little bit of wobbliness in that tensioner, but we're gonna fix that. I'm actually gonna coach my brother how to do that himself. And I think it's very important that everybody knows how to change the belt on their vehicle, because that can get you out of some serious trouble if your car spits the belt while you're driving. Everything looks really good and the engine sounds really healthy. So I'm gonna let this thing cool down. Evan's gonna come over in about 2 hours and we'll go through the vehicle, finish things out, swap cars and get this thing back to him, because I'm done. I'm done with this car for a while. Oh, let's check trans fluid level now that it's hot. Yeah, it's at the bottom of the hot line, just below hot and cool. Yeah, it's just below hot, so I think we're fine. I need to do some research on what trans fluid this thing takes. We'll go from there. Owner's manual. The internet says ATF type 4 in this AMSOIL OE trans fluid. So let's add like half a quart. I've lost a good amount of trans fluid from taking this radiator in and out like 5 times. Perfect. Right at the bottom of hot. With that, we are done. We're done and this thing is ready for pickup. I'm gonna go try to fix this headache. I got a meeting in like 30 minutes and I'll see you guys when Evan shows up to go over the truck. Yeah, we're rolling. Let's look at it.
Sweet. Yes, dude. Oh my God, look at that. It's all back together. Wow, dude. I can't believe you did that all in like a day or two. Just look at this. It's not super hard and pressurized anymore.
No, it's still warm from when I drove it. I put like 25 miles on it.
Okay.
And then I let it sit for like an hour and a half, check the cap, no pressure in it.
Nice. All right, here we go. Are you ready?
That's what I said to the camera the first time.
Sounds good.
It runs really nice.
It's purring. It's way softer than before.
It idles a lot smoother.
Wow. Bro, it sounds really good. Wow.
So,
yeah, it sounds really good.
I haven't seen any oil. Yeah, I topped off the trans because taking the radiator in and out 5-6 times over the last 2 months. You lose a little bit of fluid, a couple ounces every time.
Yeah.
But I topped it off with compatible synthetic trans fluid.
Wow.
And no check engine lights,
So
no
good,
nothing.
dude. So good.
Everything's back together.
Well done, dude. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I was thinking a lot about this series of events that transpired over the last couple of weeks. This truck, BMW, your truck, and I'm like, why do I feel like such a piece of shit? And so I was thinking about it a lot and just like going over it, just like, okay, why? Just kept asking why do I feel this way? And so that was my takeaway. It's like, I just should have done better. I should have been more on top of stuff. And so that being said, I made sure the BMW interior got detailed and cleaned. Got floor mats, carpets.
Thanks, man.
Interior, everything is dialed in. It's gassed up. There's a rollers in there for you.
Thanks, dude.
And then also, I'm gonna pay for the editing costs for this project.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll do that too.
It'll be a big one, but
Still,
it won't be too bad.
I'm thinking it's the least I can do. All these problems I keep dumping in your lap that I can't fix. So hopefully it makes up for part of it, but still, I'll do better.
Don't beat yourself up.
It's hard, bro. I keep dumping f***ing problems on your lap. I f***ing love you and want to hang out with you and stuff, and I'm just like, hey, bro, another thing.
And it's like when you got a family member that's got vehicle problems, you're the family mechanic.
Well,
It's the blessing and the curse.
Yep. Well, just know I appreciate you and all the
Thanks,
hard work
man.
you put in. I know how many hours you devoted to this, and how I want you to know how much it means to me. This truck's gonna get passed down to my daughter,
I got your back.
and thank you.
It'll be good for it.
Thank you, dude. I appreciate it. This thing looks amazing. I can't believe we got it back together. You put in some long hours. Thank you. You hear that, guys? I should have parked it and towed it. 8 miles is too far to drive with a failed cooling system.
We all have to learn that lesson sometimes.
Yeah,
It's an
$3,300
expensive-
lesson.
It's an expensive lesson to learn.
All right, now I know.
I've had head gaskets on my Jeep. I had head gaskets on my Duramax. Head gaskets on this. Duramax wasn't me. Jeep was me though.
Okay. All right, noted. And I'll pass that all along to my children.
Yep.
Let's go. Wow, dude. Smooth.
It's really smooth.
Damn, bro. Did not think I would be driving it this week.
Me neither.
Oh, dude. Wow. I'm not stressed out about driving it now because it's mine.
Yeah, that's a factor.
Phew, boy, that was a doozy. I did not think head gaskets on that Toyota V8 would be so involved. I was scared and intimidated going into that job, but luckily with some resources from you guys and some factory service manuals, we made it through, we conquered it. It's running better than ever. It is bone dry, it is smooth, it's got loads of power, and we got the job done. And I gotta say, the sense of accomplishment that you get from going through a difficult, unknown, challenging job like that is like nothing else. You know, you just feel like a more capable human being, and you come away with it with some strength and some empowerment. And I gotta say, I would confidently go back into that engine bay and do any other types of repairs because I know it now. I know it really well. We've practically touched almost all the nuts and bolts in that engine bay. Now, the job took a lot longer than I expected. It was a lot more detailed than I expected. It cost a lot more money than I expected. And this editing job was a monster. We had like 40 hours of raw footage to work through. So if you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed the editing of this video, I would love it if you would give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you think I earned it. Now, for all you BMW fans out there, I haven't forgot about you. We still got the BMW E46 giveaway car here, and I don't know how much I talked about it during this build, but we are currently restoring this BMW E46, and when I'm done with it, we're gonna choose a lucky subscriber to give it away to for completely free. I'm even going to hand deliver the car and the keys to you in person if you do win. So if you haven't seen the videos yet or put your name in the hat and entered the giveaway form, I'll put the link for the playlist in the description of this video. Now, I do gotta say, it has been a crazy past couple of months here at the Day Off DIY shop and just in my personal life. Finishing up this big scary head gasket job. I also have my Chevy Duramax diesel pickup truck that picked a fight with a concrete post. We got frame damage we're working through on that. And I have a couple $1,000s worth of Chevy parts here sitting in my garage. I also have a couple stacks of some fresh rubbers, and I'm hoping I will be able to reveal the purpose of those rubbers to you here very soon. Now, not only was this one of my biggest videos and biggest projects on this channel to date, but it will be one of my biggest videos here leading up into the Christmas season. I'm gonna be taking some time off. I'm hoping to get my Chevy truck fixed up, and I'm gonna drive it 750 miles down to Orange County in Southern California. My grandma had a little bit of a health scare and a health issue, and I gotta get down there as soon as possible to spend some quality time with her and with the family during the Christmas season. But I will be doing my best to upload consistently every Sunday, 9 a.m. PST, just like I've been doing for the last few months. I also have some terrible news about my BMW E90, but we're gonna have to save that for a future video. It needs a whole video on its own. Oh, one more thing. I found this beautiful slab of wood, and I got access to a laser engraver, and I made a little something special for the channel to hang on the wall. Tell me what you think in the comments.
We laser engraved it and burned it into this beautiful slab. What do you think?
I think this is a pretty bitchin' design, and I would love to hear your guys' inputs in the comments down below. And on top of that, I'd also love to hear what your favorite part of the video is. That's some of my favorite feedback that I get in the comment section. I hope you guys enjoyed, or I hope you learned something new. And as always, folks, I'll see you on my next day off. Cheers.